with the other workers. We need to use that and exercise that. You and your other workers are the most important people at that company. I mean, hell, the way I think about it, maybe you don't get a union at all and you just take the whole company away from the bosses, and that's called a co-op.
For the almighty dollar, everyone's a slave. Cause what's the point of doing shit if you ain't getting paid?
Can you imagine being that sensitive? Like you,
well, that's
like
what
that
they're
is the
PC as hell.
ultimate.
Hey, you know what? This is the freest goddamn country, and it's so free that if you don't stand up, you aren't a free person. And goddamn it, boy, if you don't stand up right now, you ain't free. Because you have the freedom to do whatever you want. But I'm telling you, I have the freedom to make you feel bad for doing the freedom. Just get up and say you love it. Just get up right now, Copernic. God damn it. It's so free that you can't do it. You have to. It's free because there's only one way to be. That's why it's free. So be that. Damn you. They don't have anything to live. I mean, their kids hate them. They don't have, all their money got stolen by banksters and shit. Healthcare's running through the fucking roof.
Polite about
it's just
it.
not the polite way to have sex.
That's just really one way to have sex that's polite, and it's to say, ma'am, or sir, or non-binary person, would you like to enjoy some making love with me? And then if they answer yes, then you mount that person and you move back and forth politely, and then you kind of finish it up and you say, that was great, and then you never mention it again. That's the right way to have sex, okay?
And folks, and that's why we don't do any sort of sex advice or sex stuff on this show, because there's none to be given.
I am wise!
I want you to write the polite sex book, like the proper polite method.
I just said it.
I mean, I tell you what, even the jobs that paid me nothing, like when I was first learning them, it was like, all right, I can do this. You just need somebody to get the plates and make them go from here to here. I can be the master of that. I was really into that, and I can do that. But after a while, it's like, you guys treat me like shit, and I get the plates from here to here every fucking time, and you talk down to me and shit. What's going on?
Jesus,
you're counting my lunches. Like, you're looking at what I'm eating. You're like figuring out when I'm going out to smoke. Like, all of a sudden, you're in my shit. But all you said you wanted from me was the plates to go from here to here, and I'm getting the plates from here to here.
God, that was the most accurate representation of how I feel when I get a job. At first, I'm helpless. I'm a little baby. I'm sucking off the tea to the manager to tell me what I need to do. You know, I don't want to, my wings aren't fully formed yet. And then once I learn what I'm doing, I'm like, y'all could treat me a lot better for this. I deserve a lot more for this.
Wow, this is some bullshit right here. Now that you kicked me out of the nest and I'm flying through the sky and trying to flap my wings here, I don't think you're giving me enough.
I don't like this.
You didn't set me up right.
Before we commence expelling this ghost from this location, before we save Jake from the lock, I will light the ceremonial herb that will give us the sight, that will give us the power we need to set Jake free. My Twitter's not working out here. Let's see if you can get a ghost. Go ahead and try.
I summon the ghost into ghostly ghostness. Come the fuck out if you're a real ghost. Now. Demand it. This is how we fucking hunt ghosts. And as we've pointed out, and as we've said, there are no ghosts.
So this is where the ghost lives, from what we know. And he's not home. Let me see, let me try this. Jake, you may overtake my body. I accept you into my heart and soul. Please, if you are here, take control of me, use me as a vessel.
Gross.
Nothing.
Yeah, no ghosts. So I guess the lesson of Beaver Creek is there's no such thing as ghosts, there's no God, and the Bible is a lie. off to Helltown to find out what the government's up to in the middle of fucking nowhere, Ohio. Hell yeah, bumping out here. Can I get some of this safety herb in my lung, please? And thank you, are welcome here. Jake, you can't have any because they drug test. Yeah, if you go to work, man, you're gonna get drug tested. Jake, you son of a bitch! You get out here! Hey, Jake! Ain't coming. He ain't coming because he's afraid of me, Brian Quinby from Street Fight Radio. Brett, would you like a shot at Jake?
Yeah.
Oh, I just fell in a hole. That was Jake. That was all Jake. I think we found the ghost. Jake won't let you see your mention. He's like, don't look at your phone while you're at work, motherfucker.
Oh my God, have you heard the news? Kids are dying of kratom.
That's not true.
They're injecting it into their veins.
I don't think that's happening.
An ABC Action News exclusive. A mom says a popular herb killed her son.
The most recent death happened in early June. Kratom, also known as metrogenine, was one of 4 drugs blamed for his death.
This was like the devil's drug.
It really is just a green powder that makes people feel better.
Yeah, it's a leaf. It grows from the ground, you smash it up, you make a tea out of it, you throw it down the back of your throat, you eat some capsules, and you feel better, your mind's clear. And most people that use kratom don't have access to healthcare or prescriptions or any of that regular medicine stuff. They get it from local stores or online.
Let's do an example here. You're a young person. You don't understand how all this works, so let me explain this to you. When you get hurt in your older age, let's say you're 34, you work on a roof, you fall off, and you crush your fucking heel, right? It's all shattered. The doctor 10, 15 years ago was like, that's fucked up, that really hurts. You're gonna need some opioids to kill that pain. And then the DEA says, no, you can't have those anymore. These doctors have to tighten up their prescriptions. And now you don't have any. You can't afford them. What do? You can take kratom. It has the same effects, it's less addictive, and it's more gross. So that even brings down the use. You're not gonna use it as much. Kratom kills the pain in your body. It also cures social anxiety.
The government's solution to stuff like this is always prohibition, which means putting more people in jail.
How big is your appetite for the war on drugs? I'm sure it's small. It's shrinking every single day. Don't let them continue it. Don't let them outlaw more stuff.
Good point.
Thank you. You know, you probably hear people constantly talking about this horrible thing called capitalism.
I have.
Yeah, you've heard that?
Yes.
You're like, what? How does capitalism affect me? I will tell you, it runs your entire fucking life. You've probably heard of socialism or communism. Communism. And they say, they try to control your entire life. Your whole day is taken away from you. What control do you have over your day now?
Most people have to be chained to a desk for 40 hours a week, and they're not allowed to leave.
When you wake up in the morning and you feel like shit and you have to wipe the sleep from your eyes and like look around and be like, why does this have to happen this early in the morning? That's a capitalism.
And it controls everything, like your healthcare, your education. It all comes down to making money, but some things just don't make money. Honestly, ask yourself, how afraid are you of getting an injury and how that could possibly fuck up your life?
Yeah. You're being stopped from skateboarding, breakdancing, doing anything fun, because if you get injured, you're fucked forever. You can't go to work.
And so then you have all these people that say, well, we can make a kinder capitalism, a more conscious capitalism. It isn't gonna fucking happen. We need anarchy, we need socialism, we need communism, we need anything but more capitalism.
But wait, Brett. When you go to the grocery store, you have almost unlimited choice. You can buy 100 different types of cereals.
All made from the same stuff with different graphics on the outside.
All corn. It's basically just a bunch of boxes of corn.
That's capitalism.
It actually treats about 1% of the population like humans, and the rest of us like tools for those superhumans. You don't have any money, your bank account's low? I know where the money is. Jeff Bezos has it, the Waltons have it.
And they took it from us, right?
They took it from us.
We're just getting our money back.
Yeah, your work made that money. You deserve that money. That's your money. The 1% has never decided to do the right thing. That's why we have to take power and just spread it out among the 100% of people that exist. How many times have you gone into work and then looked at your boss and said, what are they doing? You ever think about the levels at a job, Brett? Of course, the people on the very bottom. What do?
Usually clean.
Yeah, and then there is the people just above them. They're the ones that do the second hardest job at the place, right?
Deal with customers?
Yeah, that sort of thing. And then there's another level above that, and that's the manager that's in the place. Now let's think about what comes after that, right? You might have a guy named like Glenn that comes to your office every 6 months, and you have to lay out the red carpet for Glenn. Think about what the person above Glenn does. Jerry is the person above Glenn, right?
Okay.
His job is basically going to lunch, right?
Yeah, powerful meetings, shaking hands real hard.
We're gonna go up to the CEO now. The people that sit around a table and who knows what they're doing? Nobody knows what they talk about.
Playing cards.
What connection does that person have to what you do and what the customer gets? It just seems like you could really chop like 5 or 6 levels off of any job and the company would still run perfectly.
Think about your job. Now imagine your manager isn't there. How much smoother would your day run?
I mean, how many of you work a job where you don't even know who the fucking CEO is of the company? That means they're absolutely useless. They're parasites.
They're on the top, getting most of the money, sending their kids to private school, driving the fanciest cars, and they can't make a sandwich. Every new level of hierarchy is more money coming out of your paycheck. Unions are fucking great because it's not HR.
You need solidarity with the other workers. We need to use that and exercise that. You and your other workers are the most important people at that company. I mean, hell, the way I think about it, maybe you don't get a union at all and you just take the whole company away from the bosses, and that's called a co-op.
For the almighty dollar, everyone's a slave. Cause what's the point of doing shit if you ain't getting paid?
Can you imagine being
Hey Street Fighters, how's it going? It's Sunday night. It's the call-in show, and we're back in the studio. Quarantine is over. If you're watching on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, or YouTube, thanks for joining us again. We're live in the studio as before. Next Sunday is Valentine's Day, so we're not going to be doing a call-in show. And then after that, the 21st on Sunday is going to be the ABCD call-in show, anybody but cis dudes. So I'll send more info about that on all the channels. You can follow along with what we do on social media. We're Street Fight WCRS on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We are Street Fight Radio on Twitch, twitch.tv/Street Fight Radio. You can use your free subscription every single month to help support what we do. You can also buy bits and play sounds and subscribe with real money, and that goes to us. And we're getting closer to that affiliate status. I'm going to try to go live a few days this week just to make it a habit and to get us over the edge, because we're so close. And it's because all of you that support and tell your friends to watch and interact with what we do. So thank you. We are Street Fight Radio, the #1 anarcho-comedy radio show on any station across the nation. And my name is Brett. My co-host is Brian. We are taking your calls tonight. That number to dial is 614-655-3887.
How is your day going, Brian?
Okay, back in the studio, so that makes everything easier.
It does.
Easy peasy. No more sitting in my room with my hanging off a thread mic stand, which sucks.
You have a hanging on a thread mic stand?
I had to do some work to it to make it fit on my table, and it fucked it up, and I don't know where to buy one that isn't shitty, so just living with a shitty mic. I want a boom arm, and because I move around a lot while I'm at home. A little less here, because I have like a stationary thing, you know? But I move around a lot more when I'm at home, so yeah. That's what's going on with me, I guess.
Okay.
Didn't take a walk today because it's 12 degrees out.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see why you wouldn't.
Just decided to sit around all day and take naps, that's what you do on Sunday. So that's nice.
Yeah, especially in this weather. It's not the best I've seen.
Yeah, and Super Bowl, it's the Super Bowl. So I don't even know how many calls we're going to get tonight. People are probably busy watching the Super Bowl, the big game.
Oh, everybody. Everybody's got their buffalo chicken dip ready to go.
Sitting alone in their house watching the Super Bowl. Getting excited, though, you know?
Eating one potato skin and throwing the rest away.
Yeah. I mean, they're saying that there could be an outbreak after the Super Bowl, but I can't imagine that's what people... But I guess people go out for everything, so...
Yeah, there's a reason to go out.
Yeah, it is a reason to go out.
You got to. It's a sacred holiday.
If I wasn't doing this, I'd be watching the Super Bowl, probably. But I didn't even turn it on because I'd be like, how could I tear myself away from this action when I have to leave to go do the show?
Yeah, there's going to be so many good commercials.
Yeah, the commercials are going to be great. The game's going to be great. It's just going to be a good time, you know?
Yeah.
So... that's what's going on. I don't know. I don't have a lot going on, man.
All right, that's good.
I've been in the house for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I've been watching the World Series of Asphalt down in New Smyrna, Florida. The just most rinky-dink racing ever. I'm loving it. I watched a good movie today, too, an anime called Red Line.
Okay.
And it was good. I think you would like it.
Racing movie?
Racing.
I figured. Red Line.
And it's good. It's like a kitchen sink. It's like the old ones that we would watch, you know, in the middle of the night when you were young. There's a place called Robo World, and they're sneaking onto Robo World to do an illegal race. And this gigantic nuclear monster comes alive, and there's all these different racers, and they all have different themes. It's like has everything you want. The main guy though is he's a little too rockabilly for my liking.
Yeah, don't like rockabilly.
But he's very cool. He's a badass. He smokes. He doesn't like anybody. He's smart ass. Definitely recommend Red Line if you haven't seen that one.
Really? I started a show I swore I'd never watch. That's how low we've gotten on the TV shows to watch. Me and my family have finished everything.
Okay.
So now we're watching Ozark, which is like Breaking Bad, but with Jason Bateman in it.
Okay.
And instead of drugs, it's money laundering.
Jason Bateman is a money launderer?
Yeah.
In the Ozarks.
In the Ozarks, yeah. He has to move down to the Ozarks for reasons that are too intense to explain here. Like, just somebody wants him dead, and he has to move down to the Ozarks and do money laundering, I guess.
Okay.
And I don't know. We just started watching it last night. We watched 4 episodes, and we were like, all right, well, I guess this is something. There's 30 of them. So
yeah.
That's something to do.
It is.
That's our new strategy all the time, is like, what is there 30 episodes of that we can just sit around and let play, you know?
Yeah.
And but we finished everything good, so now we're just stuck going to like stuff that sucks. You know what I mean? Like, it's like anything that you would think would be an interesting thing to watch, we've done that. Now it's just what's stuff I swore off when it came out, you know?
Right.
And
what's something you just remember?
Yeah. This might be too dude for Gwen. You know, but she's kind of into it. She was watching it. I mean, she watches American Horror Story all day.
Okay.
That's like she gets up and puts on American Horror Story until she goes to bed. And just sit there. There's like 10 seasons of that. Which just
Yeah, I mean,
We gotta get these vaccines.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there are other things to do besides stare at the TV, though.
I don't think so. I'm trying to figure that out lately.
Yeah,
I just don't think so.
Never picked that model back up or anything?
Nope. Never picked the models back up. Never. I didn't feel like playing video games because I don't want to be in a room by myself all day.
What, you want someone watching? Go and we got you that stream so someone can watch you play games.
Yeah, we gotta get my streaming set up.
Why do you
go out and play games?
Why are you against playing video games in a room?
Oh, I just don't want to go sit by myself in a little room like that in my office.
But no one can bother you.
I know, but I like it when they bother me.
Doesn't sound like it.
I do,
Okay.
actually.
All right.
I'm always following the wife and kid around. Like, what y'all doing? What are you doing? You know, especially the past 2 weeks where I've been at home. I haven't seen anybody. I feel like I got to bug everybody that I even get in contact with. Like, hey, what are you doing? How's it going? What's happening? Got anything going on? You know, asking my wife about work. Yeah, what's going on at work?
Yeah.
And she tells me,
Sitting
and I'm
down.
like, I don't know why I asked that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I need to,
Something to do.
I need to know there's a world, you know? Just boring. I've hit the part of winter where I am seriously a mess.
Yeah.
Like it's over with. I'm not gonna make it this year. I thought I was gonna be more positive this year. Not gonna do it. It's not gonna happen.
I'm really stoked that January is over. That's one thing that I'm very excited about.
Hey,
Something
that
I'm
is
living on is January. You do not have to do that for a very long time.
That is positive. That's a positive way to be. I should have thought about that. You know what I did yesterday to try to get my wind in my sails? I looked at weather by month.
Oh,
so that I could see a day that was 60 degrees and was like, okay, well, it's going to happen in a couple months.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Look forward to.
Sometime in March, it's going to be 60 degrees, according to the weather.
Right.
Does weather by month, which doesn't even get it right by week. But I just get excited about it. Like, oh, 58? I mean, it's raining, but 58's pretty good. There's 12 out there.
Yeah, 12's hard to deal with.
Went to start my car and it didn't even go the first time. I had to try twice. Oof. You know, yeah, that's a bad feeling. When you turn the fucking thing and it just goes, and you're like, oh no, oh no. It's over at the UDF over by your house, the gas station. I turned the key and it went, and I was like, oh, that's not good. And then I turned it again and it started.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I do have some news about the car though. I got a thing in the mail, a recall.
Okay.
That said if your engine smells like it's burning oil and stuff, that they'll replace it.
Okay.
And mine has been having that problem. So I might get a new engine.
A whole new engine.
The old Soul. I think so. I'm going to take it in. They were like, if your service engine light comes on and you smell oil burning, then we'll replace your whole engine. And I was like, that's tight. I'm going to do that then. I mean, I'm sure somehow my car won't fit in that thing, or like they'll be like, you're overreacting, you know? Well, it's like it's worth a shot though.
Well, or actually, I think in your case, they would replace the whole engine and then be like, "Oh, we didn't mean to do that. You got to come back. We're gonna put another engine in because we couldn't get your old one that went to the scrapyard."
Yes. Well, if I did, I would have a whole new engine and a whole new transmission.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's
like a new car.
Yeah,
I just basically have a new car, which is now a whole thing in my house because I plan to give this to my daughter when it's paid off, and she doesn't want it.
Well, yeah, she don't get to pick. She can buy her own car.
Apparently, it's a meme with Zoomers that Kia Souls suck. So they'll be like, "Oh, that's an ugly car." You know, she posted a TikTok in her car, and they were like, "Ew, is that a Kia Soul?" And it's like, "Oh my God, stop poisoning her." That's not cool.
You don't have to be. Yeah, I mean, jealousy. You don't have to take someone's jealousy seriously.
Yeah, that's why I keep telling her it's a car, dude.
Yeah.
What does this? Who cares?
Ask her to watch any of the prestige TV shows that you've all seen, and the shitty kinds of cars they give teenagers in those programs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everybody gets a shitty car the first time. That car's not even that shitty.
You can't complain. Any car that's given to you for free, you can't ever complain about, ever. Especially to the person that's giving it to you.
That's all I hear. Oh,
you can buy your own car.
That's what I keep telling her. I'm like, you want a car payment? I mean, I guess go for it. I'm not co-signing.
Right.
Because I know you ain't gonna pay it. I know how this shit works. Get a job, get a Range Rover or whatever it is you're trying to get.
Oh yeah,
you know,
that's a great first car is Range Rover. That's the perfect one.
That's what she wants, I think, or a Land Rover, whatever the expensive.
Yeah, because
SUV
18-year-olds
thing.
usually have $1,000 a month to pay for all the weird mechanical problems that go wrong with it.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that's how she's acting. Well, actually, it's not even that. I want a really expensive car. I just want a Subaru.
That's the expensive
and I'm like,
car.
I think Subarus are expensive, dude.
You can't you woke shame her and tell her she's being like a basic Whole Foods, like white lady?
No, I can't.
She doesn't. She's impervious to that.
She doesn't care. She just wants a Subaru.
But yeah, you can't. Yeah, no.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not getting her
Unacceptable.
A Subaru.
No, I didn't think you would. Yeah.
No, that computer. She wants to trade in that computer for 1 month of a Subaru car payment. Then go for it.
A down payment on.
Yeah. Anything. Yeah. You know? A Subaru. Get out of my life with a Subaru.
That's
Don't
something
need a
that
damn Subaru.
You know what? Subaru is a great aspiration though. That's wonderful because that's something that you can achieve. You know, if you start BMWs and Range Rovers and all that, no one can achieve that. No one can actually afford to have those fucking vehicles.
Yeah.
I had a GoPuff guy come here with a fucking Audi, driving an Audi.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you look so fucked up to me right now.
Yeah.
I didn't want to tip him. Like
he has an Audi. It's a better car than yours.
Yes, absolutely. Sell your car, dude. That's the problem. Take a night off.
It's like the old David Cross bit about getting your pizza delivered in a limo. It's like as like a luxury thing is they'll deliver your pizza in a limo.
Yeah.
Very funny to me. But yeah. I mean, well, when you get a car like that, you gotta do the side hustle, I guess. And GoPuff is
that is true.
One of the things, you know.
That's true.
I mean, like I said, she can go get I don't know what job she can get when she's 18. But she can get a job when she's 18 and get a Subaru. I don't care. I'll keep the goddamn Kia Soul, dude.
Yeah.
I don't care if teenagers are snickering at me when I drive by them. It fucking drives, and it won't have a payment. What a fucking thing I'm handing her. You know?
Yeah, wonderful.
What's better than a car that runs without a payment?
It's the dream car.
Yeah. That's all I want.
I'm caught up in payments too, and I'm just thinking about the days like, man, remember when you had that car paid off?
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, that was a nice car, that paid off car.
Any car that's paid off
It's a nice car.
is nice.
It's nicer than any car that you're making payments on.
I've never had one. I did have one, but it was a piece of shit, and I only had it for like 6 months until I had to fucking
Yeah, I've had those too.
buy a fucking car at JD Byrider that was also a piece of shit. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what these teens with their being. There was not really a car we made fun of as kids, you know. There wasn't like somebody got a car and they were like, "Oh, look at you with your Beretta." You know what I mean? God, what's wrong with you, fucking Ford Escort? You know, it was just excited to have a car. You know, it didn't fucking matter. Jason drove a fucking Geo Metro.
Oh yeah, I've driven a lot of those.
No back seat, fucking convertible. He's driving that. That thing's a piece of shit. A tiny little piece of shit. And he was like happy as shit to be driving the fucking thing.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
I see Jason drive some shit fucking cars, dude. Some Mustang, a shitty ass Mustang he had. And it was just like nobody made fun of him. You know? Nobody made fun of my friends that drove shitty Novas and stuff. People were just like, damn, can I get in your car and go places with you?
It's a different world.
Yeah, I guess. Now a Kia Soul. Dude, do you know what people would have done for a Kia Soul back when I was a teenager? A car the equivalent of a Kia Soul back then.
Yeah, I mean, what I used to do was any kid that got a car equivalent to a Kia Soul is in the middle of the night, I would go rub shit and vomit all over it as some sort of like poor kid's retribution against them.
Yeah. Because you're driving some Camaro, some shitty ass Camaro.
And a 1986 Camaro I paid $500 for.
Yeah, it's a piece of shit.
It was,
a Mustang 5.0, one of those cars.
The Fox body.
Like guys would get the Mustang 5.0 and then be like, I'm driving a Mustang, dude. Isn't this badass? And it's like, you're driving an Escort.
It's a jalopy.
Yeah, that's an Escort, dude. This is a piece of shit. I don't know. That makes me nuts, dude. That something happened where it went viral to say Kia Souls are pieces of shit. And now I have to deal with that.
It does seem pretty
in my life.
It does seem pretty like the world is kind of created to cause problems for you.
Yes!
Specifically.
Yeah. Not fair. Not even fair. You don't hear it about anything. She'd probably rather drive your minivan.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Who wants a minivan?
Once you have one, you do want one.
I'm not going to make fun of your car because that's the whole point here.
Right.
We don't make fun
all
of
cars are great.
Cars that
not all of them.
Run.
Some of them are pieces of shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my car's kind of a piece. The Soul is kind of a piece of shit.
Right.
But it's relatively reliable. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah. You just got to replace the engine and the transmission, and that baby runs.
I actually, was trying to, cheer myself up by thinking of warm stuff and shit. You know what I mean? Just kind of just remember.
I love that.
Someday the leaves are going to show back up on the trees and it's going to be warm out and you're going to be out there. You're not fighting the elements and stuff. And then I'm so depressed that the thing that popped into my stupid head was driving my car home from Tennessee when the catalytic converter was crapping out and it wouldn't go faster than 50 miles an hour.
That's not a warm feeling.
That wasn't a warm feeling, but it was it was warm out when it happened, I guess. You
were just reminding yourself that bad stuff happens in warm climates as well.
Yes, that's what popped in my head.
Yeah, I was thinking also a good mental exercise now is to think about yourself in the middle of July and complaining about how hot it is and how you hate being sweaty and you wish it wasn't like this and you wish it would just cool down. That's what I always say. That's what I always think about too.
Yeah.
It's I'm going to want to be right back here when it's summertime. So I feel like I'm in my summertime mindset. I'm happy that it's not hot as fuck right now and that it's almost over. We're so close.
We're getting there. Yeah.
The days are just so bleeding into each other. February is going to be done so soon. It's a short month too. It's just 4 straight weeks. Just clean, boom, boom, boom. The way it should be. Every month should be 28. But
yeah. I mean, just the amount of days though doesn't. It's like winter is going to end when it wants to end, and that's the issue.
Well, Puxatawny Phil seems to think that it's going away. He says, "I think we're safe."
It's like a reprieve. Get that vaccine and get that fucking winter over, and we're all set. You know.
It was I don't approve your misery exercise, but I do. I was thinking about all the stuff I did in January and was like, I really used to do a lot. I thought that January and the winter nothing happened. But 1 year ago, we went to wrestling, we went to corn, we did a variety show, we went to Soup Fest.
Yeah.
We did something for weekend, every single weekend we had a huge event.
We were having fun.
Yeah.
We're just doing all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
Just fucking celebrating being in crowds with people.
Breathing their breath. And
now it's going to be the end of the year, they're saying. The holidays will be normal next year. Dr. Fauci, I'm the new New York Times subscriber currently.
Oh, wow.
And all I read about is the coronavirus. I don't read anything else in that fucking stupid newspaper.
You should try to get we should get you a town crier job, maybe. You would be really good for that if you walked around the whole city of Columbus ringing a bell and announcing folks are saying end of the year, vaccines for everyone. Gling, 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 gling.
I'm technically am the town crier because I walk around town crying all the time. But I get what you're saying too.
Well, it's different meanings, dual meaning. I was trying to flip into the positive, maybe.
Yeah,
we are doing the Get Motivated stream on Tuesday.
Yeah.
We're going to kick off the Get Motivated series on our Patreon. I listened to Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I was totally flabbergasted by how awful of a human being that guy is.
I'm still working on it.
Fucking crazy that book is.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
I wish it was just called "I Hate My Dad."
It is. That's what it is.
Yeah.
The way that he refuses to use their names and just call his dad "poor dad" the whole time is so disrespectful. I can't imagine he talks to his dad anymore. I would totally disown my daughter if she wrote a book and didn't even say, like, I had a rich dad named George and a poor dad named Brett. And then say Brett would always tell me, you know, buy everything, spend all your money while you're here because you aren't taking it to the other side, you know?
Yeah.
Instead of just calling me poor dad the whole time.
Yeah. My poor dad often would say something extremely stupid, while my rich dad would say something extremely intelligent. And that is the difference between the dads.
Yeah, and I looked up at I was 10 years old and I looked up at my rich dad and I said, Rich Dad, I don't want you to pay me. I want to work for free because that's how rich people do it.
Yeah. Yep. Rich people don't work for money. They make money work for them, my dude.
So true. It's all about cash flow.
Yeah, that's it. We got the game. That's probably what we should do. We should probably try to play that on the stream.
Okay. Yeah, we did. It's all the way over there, but I'll bring it back. Somebody mailed us the cash flow game. That was really awesome of you. And we now have the $90 board game. They said that it was from a previous time in their life, is what it said. Which we all had previous times in our
new
lives.
world.
Yeah, here it is. It's got a Chuck E. Cheese type character. Someone related to Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, Chuck E. Cheese is poor dad. That's rich dad.
This Chuck E. Cheese is poor dad. This is the rich dad and the rat universe of mascots.
Tried to be a fucking fat cat rat guy. Yeah, we'll just set it up. I'll come over here Tuesday night. We'll play this. We'll try to take some calls. See if people want to talk about motivational speakers. It'll be a fun little time. And
I wanted to read
since there's no show on Sunday, you know, this is a little extra for you.
True. All right, this says, hey, B&B, love the show, bought this back in the day, and now it's time to pass it on. Enjoy. I can't tell what the name is. I'm going to take a guess, and I want you to take a guess.
What?
I cannot read this name. I'm going to guess Craig.
I'm going to guess Terry. Chris. I think it's Chris.
Okay.
Or Chaos.
Chaos,
Craig or Chris or whatever. It's sweet of you to send this to us.
Yeah, thank you. That saved us from lining Robert Kiyosaki's pockets with another $90.
Yeah, and didn't make us buy it because we were thinking about it, but we didn't. I'm going to play this game. There is a passage in the book about this game. It's good synergy. It made a woman cry.
It did.
So
because she wanted to keep her boat and she wasn't willing to limit her spending.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh gosh, what a
calls?
psychotic fucking thing. Yes, let's get into these calls.
Let's see what these calls are up to.
Oh, this first one is from I know who this is. This is organizer out of LA and work with Ground Game. Kendall, how's it going?
Oh, here we go. Hey guys.
Hey. What's up?
I actually also brought my friend John Motter with me. He's here. John, say hi.
Yeah, I'm here too.
Hey, John, how are you?
Three-way called you.
Oh.
All right.
That's using technology to your advantage.
Yeah, I did a little junior high move and three-way call, which was really fun.
Nice, nice. Well, what's going on in
also,
LA?
Yeah, and John, I saw your pull quote about you would buy beans if it would cause injury to a billionaire. So I wanted to salute you for that as well.
Yes. Yeah, John Motter is locally famous in the LA Times for his his.
I'm a businessman.
He's a businessman now.
Closer, making deals.
You're the new Bean Dad. We'll start calling you the Bean Dad.
The good Bean Dad.
Yeah.
We have a new series, Bad Bean Dad, Good Bean Dad.
Yeah. Yep.
John, tell them give people context about what we're talking about.
We're talking about stonks, folks.
Talking about stonks.
To get in, go buy some GameStop stock.
Be the rich dad.
Yeah.
Get some stonks.
I almost did.
Tired of being a poor dad? Probably.
Get some passive income. Boost that GameStop stock so I can sell and cover my losses.
I thought about it, but then I said I don't understand the stock market, so I should probably not fuck with it. That's the same thing I was just telling Brett and Jason before the show about Dogecoin. They were like, Jason was like, I got some Dogecoin, and I was like, I don't even know what it is, so it would be dumb for me to get involved.
Yeah, I bought $10 of Doge at the same time, and it
hell yeah.
midnight, so I sold it for $65.
Yeah.
None of this stuff makes sense. The numbers go up, the numbers go down. There's no reason behind it.
I think I'm gonna buy some. I'm gonna buy some Dogecoin.
This is how we're gonna fund, organizing work.
Sure. Dogecoin, yes. So what's going on? You said you're from
Predators.
I'm sorry, you're from Ground Game LA? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, so John and I both organized with Ground Game LA. And thank you for having us on. I lately have been just like really wanting you guys are kind of like the best example, I think, of a podcast that like continues to always like doing the call-in show and stuff, like hearing from people who are having real life like experiences in like just in general, but specifically like organizing. I think a lot of times in the like online Twitter sphere, it's really easy to get like demoralized when you're looking at like how fucked up things are and like nobody, and a lot of that is because like nobody hears about the work that's being done in different places because it doesn't get fucking covered anywhere. Like nobody fucking knows about it, and like it's so that's why I kind of reached out and was like, can we come on and talk? Because there's actually like a lot of great work being done all over the country, and people need to hear about it. I think so that we all don't just give up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking at songs all day.
Absolutely. I feel that way too. It's nice to hear because it's such a hard time for a lot of people. It's pretty depressing and you're not getting around people and seeing good stuff. I think a lot of times
100%.
I think a lot of times like we run around in life, maybe we run around in our circles and we get the feel for what's going on and it can feel good. But then when you're now that we're all kind of isolated, it's like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't talk to anybody that's doing anything really because I'm isolated.
Yeah. And it's like way harder to connect. I mean, just in general, like one thing that I try to talk about a lot in like organizing work is that like when we're relying on like just text-based communication, like on Twitter or like just texting people or whatever, it's like you're missing a lot of context and you like lose a lot of the like social connection that we rely on when we're in real life and when we get to see people and just having like that human connection just ends up, it has like a reverberation, I feel like, for all of us. Like it's such a fucked up time. It's so hard to hold on to hope and but we know also, like, I mean, I know from being here on the ground, like how many people are, doing mutual aid work, how many people are like, whether it's an organized effort or it's just like people individually, like helping out their neighbors or whatever. Like there's so much of that going on right now and we just don't fucking hear about it. Like we just don't hear about it. Like it doesn't get clicks.
Yeah, so what I know y'all have been doing a lot, but what are some of the recent successes you've had? I know I've seen some of the links have been shared, but fill us in.
I've been talking a lot. John, you want to jump in?
Well, we won a city council seat here in November, which is fairly unprecedented and very difficult to do. So we got an actual leftist in office and really one of the most powerful positions in the country, probably in government.
Yeah.
That's been good. We stopped Trump. We single-handedly stopped Trump from being reelected. That was us.
I think like one thing that I think a lot of people don't realize is that, like, in LA, we actually voted to defund the police. We passed something called Measure J in LA County in November, which, like, we don't have the exact numbers on how much it's going to take out of the LA County Sheriff's Department, but it's going to be an enormous amount of money taken out and rerouted into, like, social programs and literally, like, reinvestment in, like, Black-owned businesses and stuff.
That's great.
And community, like, land trust programs, things like that. Which, like, is just, like, missing from the whole narrative that, like, you can't win elections on defund the police. Like, we literally did that.
They put our abolish the police tweets on mailers and sent them out to everyone in the district, and we still crushed our opponent.
That's awesome.
That's they literally
really
sent out,
really
they
good.
sent out, like, fear-mongering, like, red-baiting mailers to, like, people in Nithya Raman's city council district that literally just printed out, like, tweets from ground game that said abolish the police, and we're like, this is who's behind Nithya Raman, like, don't vote for her. And yeah, we beat them in, like, during a pandemic when we couldn't canvass, we still beat them by, like, how many points did we beat them by? 10 points?
I think so.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
You know, like, one thing that I also, like, wanted to put out there is that I just think, like, I think I've talked about this to you guys before, actually, and I think we talked about it when you guys were out here 100 million years ago before the pandemic. But, like, I think people still really misunderstand that, like, Los Angeles is mostly fucking, like, poor and working people.
Right.
And, like, the image of, like, what LA is, like, all dictated by Hollywood and, like, Instagram influencers and all this shit. And, like, the reality is that, like, the median income in my city council district is, I just looked it up yesterday, it's like $24,000.
Wow.
And people just, like, don't understand that. And, like, that's part of why, like, we're the epicenter of the pandemic right now. It's because people are living in multi-generational households. People are forced to work in construction or in healthcare, obviously, or in retail.
We're the biggest
and, like,
jailer in the country, and
we have the
the
biggest
jails. And so our house got COVID because a public defender was here.
Right, and
so,
it's
like,
also even.
We've all been.
I'm sorry. It's also, like, even like the people that work in the industry, in the entertainment industry, are even, like, most of them. Yeah. That's the thing that people don't understand is, like, I mean, I met so many people out there that told me so many stories about working in the industry, and it really is. It really is amazing that people think it's some rich place, you know?
It's super crazy. I mean, like, part of it is also just that we have, like, more wealth disparity here, right? Like, we do have a ton of rich people here. We just also have, like, a ton of poor people, and it's very, very, very divided. And it's really obvious when you walk around and you see, you know, unhoused people living in encampments. We have the largest unhoused population in the entire country by a lot. And, like, mansions and luxury fucking condos everywhere. And it's just, the disparity is so jarring. And it's also, like culturally, it is, like, a fairly progressive city. So people here who live here, when you actually talk to people about it, like, they don't want this to be the case, you know? But they've, like, been good liberals for a long time. And trusting the system and trusting the people in power who are, like, all Democrats. But
like moderate types though, because it's like the Democrats in LA seem to have, like, these big, which obviously they have these big outsized personalities that people, I think that because it's California, they're like, oh, it's all these leftists running the government there in California and all this shit. And it's like, no, it's like moderates that get by on conservatives calling them leftists. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's
like,
like
our mayor
people-
can't even say the word sanctuary city. Like, he
Literally,
been
so.
asked to and refuses to.
You know, it's funny. Your
He
man
can't even, like, virtue signal like that.
I have, from the first time I ever went to LA, I have stickers all over my house now that says something like "Stop Garcetti," And it's like
we got lots of stickers.
You'll find them sitting around. We'll find them sitting around the house, and like nobody even knows who Garcetti is. I'm just like, yeah, it's the mayor of California. Some people that like the show hate him. So
yeah, we all fucking hate him. And like, I mean, that's one of the things I think. Like, I also wanted to just share with people like around is that like it's also just like how important it is to like work locally, like figure out what you can do, because like. If you take a look at what your power structure is in your city, wherever you are, and then then figure out like who are the players here, like who's actually literally in power, and then who's funding those people, right? Like who are the small business owners that are like shitty there, or the big business owners who are funding that shit, and then you can start to like actually make wins, and that's what we were able to do here. You know, with the work of like law, I mean, we're in LA. There's like fucking a huge history of organizing work here, like specifically with like immigrant populations and Black and brown folks have been doing that work forever. But when we like are able to team up and build on that and focus on local shit, we were able to like actually make a big impact in ways that will actually change people's lives. I mean, we elected a DA here, George Gascon, and got out who I think was the worst DA in the country, potentially, Jackie Lacey, like if not up there. Like, because we elected George Gascon, and there was skepticism about Gascon on the left, which is reasonable. We had skepticism about him. We didn't actually officially endorse him or anything or work on his behalf. But a lot of our allies did, and we decided not to, like, we didn't speak out. We interviewed him a couple of times. Anyway, the point is, we managed to elect this DA, and as a result, like there's no death penalty in LA County anymore.
That's great.
Like, that's done.
And we used to kill more people than anywhere else. Like,
yes, we also
and like
had
exclusively black people.
And how is
like
your...
there's no three strikes and you're out. There's no, like, he's changed so many things already, like such a massive amount of harm reduction. Like literally people are out of jail now because of this election in November. Like people got out of jail.
That's great.
And it's also like a blueprint for other places, right? Like because we have a further left base, it's like that's part of our job is to like to try more further left things.
Yeah.
And like see if we can do it.
Absolutely. And how big is the group?
Do actually work. Ground game?
Yeah.
Ground game probably got like a few dozen active people now, and maybe like 100 or so more who come in and out when they have time.
Sure.
But we've been doing this for years. When we started, it was probably around 10 of us. Keeping this going for a while, and at times even less than that. We still like launched some campaigns, and we're able to like pull some impressive stuff together. So it doesn't even necessarily take, a ton of people to do this work. Like we could always, use more capacity. But if folks are like in like a really small town, like, well, there's only me and my one other like lib friend at work or whatever. Well, that's two people you got there. Like it only takes two people to hold a banner.
Yeah.
And like I also just wanted to like call in and say to folks like we like ground game also like part of our orientation is that like we really also want to like help other people do this shit in other places wherever they are. And, like, it's so important that we, like, this country is too fucking big. Like, it's just too fucking big. It's 330 million people or whatever and fucking massive. And every place is so different and has such different needs and, like, such different situations. And so often we, like, talk about it as though, like, there's some sort of, like, cohesive culture to this fucking country. Like, there isn't. Like, that's crazy. Like, we have to like talk about the differences in order to be, but I mean, it doesn't mean that we don't have shit in common, obviously. It doesn't mean we can't help each other with the ways that we try and fight the system. Like we can, and we need to have solidarity around it. But I think an important piece that gets lost a lot is like recognizing how different it is. Being like, oh, that's like totally fucking different. Like you're in a rural place, you're in, thousands of miles away from me. But here's what worked for me here, and here's what might work, and here's what worked for you. And, like, we do work with a coalition of organizations called People's Action. that's like grassroots groups from different parts of the country. And that's like so helpful for us because we're able to talk to like Hometown Alabama, which is like a like queer-led org in Alabama. And like we are able to talk to them about what they do and what their tactics are. And that you never know what you're going to learn from people in a different place about what you're not thinking about as far as like tactics or strategy or what's possible. Like you have to be really fucking creative to like organize around like reproductive justice and queer liberation in Alabama. Like you got to really fucking be brave and bold. And like we can learn a lot from that, you know?
Absolutely. Well, thanks for filling us in. I appreciate it, and hope that people follow along to get that information that you're putting out there. It sounds like there's a lot of good stuff going on, and it is always good to hear, you know, news that is like joyous, or that is good, or that is like, you know, things didn't go horrible this time. So so we applaud what you're doing out there in Ground Game LA.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, and I'm serious about that. Like, if anybody who's listening, like, you know, is interested and wants to talk about this stuff, like, you can DM us on Twitter or Instagram or wherever. It's all Ground Game LA everywhere. And, like, we're more than happy to, you know, to the best of our capacity, like, talk about how to do these things and, like, how we
we're
can
on the
help.
Facebook page. Well, some of us are on the Facebook page, too.
Oh, yeah, there's a bunch of us in the Facebook group. But,
Awesome.
yeah, hit us up. And also check out the WGA. The Writers Guild of America had a big win yesterday against, like, fucked up corporate power in the entertainment industry. There's a lot of, I'm sure there's coverage of it people can read about, but just on the entertainment industry tip, that was a very hopeful win against, like, consolidation of power.
Awesome.
Nice.
Oh, and if you're a vet, join About Face.
Oh, yeah, John's an organizer against the war with About Face.
Okay.
And follow me on TikTok.
Oh, yeah, and boost John's clout on TikTok.
What is your TikTok? Where can people find you on TikTok?
Moderator.
Moderator?
Look up John Mon. But it's, moderator with spelled with T's.
All right.
Moderator with T's, 2 T's instead of a D.
All right. All right.
John
Yeah.
makes really good anti-imperialist TikToks.
Awesome.
and the Zoomers love it.
Yeah, I'm king of Zoomers.
Wonderful. That's what we need. Well, thanks for calling in.
Yeah, thanks for calling in. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Peace.
Bye. Good work being done out in
People
LA.
out of jail.
Los
That's something.
Angeles.
My piss poor attitude. If they're like, these people were in jail, now they're not in jail. That's the best you can do.
That kind of shit makes me happy when I hear that shit. Like, that's, I don't know. You know, this summer I keep thinking my mood. I need to start keeping track of my mood, because I think during the Black Lives Matter stuff, my mood was much more leveled out. Like, I wasn't as grumpy. I'm like grumpy as shit now because I don't feel like nothing's going on.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's probably because I'm just alone all the time.
Yeah, you don't have anybody to tell you to stop thinking like an idiot.
Yeah. They don't let me waller. Somebody's got to tell me to stop wallering.
Yes.
Wallering in my misery.
Yep.
Which is what I do all day. That's basically what I've taken on as my job now.
Yeah. You gotta find something else to do, man. Is there anything you wanted to do? Like, could you pluck at a guitar or something all day?
I don't have a guitar.
I'm going back because I'm doing card tricks. I've been playing with cards for the last 2 months now, and I'm really dog shit at it. But it's something I can spend a decent amount of time on that is fun and is like only for me, you know?
That's nice. I mean, yeah, card tricks would be, learning something would be cool. I have a yo-yo. I'm just too lazy to play with.
Practice your yo-yo.
I should.
That's perfect.
I should yo a lot more.
Yes, because watch them. Yeah, you're not there yet. You're not.
I mean, I'm taking these fucking walks, dude. Let me tell you about these. I complained about it earlier in the week. I'm taking these fucking walks, and the weather, I mean, the sidewalks are just, they're so fucked, dude.
Yeah.
They're like a thick layer of ice.
I saw people walking down the high street in the far right lane like they were a bike or something, and I was like, this is not okay.
I was doing that. on a fairly busy road, Fifth Avenue.
Oof.
I was out walking on the street, and it was just like, because it's dangerous.
Right. Yeah.
I don't like danger.
Yeah.
Well,
Unless it's
not that kind of danger.
Right.
I've almost, here's the thing though, for listeners to be proud of me, I've almost fallen every single time I've gone out for a walk and caught myself. I haven't fallen yet.
It's good for your core.
Come so close.
It's good for your core and back muscles.
Yeah, I'm always much more sore.
Yes.
When I walk out in this shit than I am during the summer, when I could just handle.
Yes. Well, I have another guest here who's going to call in, a big timer. Jared Holt is on the line. Let me get him in here.
Get Jared Holt on the line.
Jared, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey.
Hey, pretty good. If it's any condolence, I also had a card trick phase during quarantine.
Hey, I'm sticking to it.
I gotta tell you, I was very excited to find out you were calling. I heard some of your stuff on Howard Stern 2 weeks ago. Did you know
Really?
that he played some of your stuff?
No, I had no idea.
He went to the right. He was big up in Right Wing Watch's Twitter and played some of the preachers dealing with Trump not being president anymore. He played your stuff. I can't believe nobody told you were on Howard Stern.
Yeah, you gotta get better friends, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, I switched jobs. I'm not at Right Wing Watch anymore. I'm working for this like sort of wonky researcher think tank thing.
Oh, okay.
Doing extremism on the internet. So
Okay.
That's probably why.
Okay, good. Sorry about that. I thought that's where you worked. I was like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, I know who that guy is. You know what I mean? As soon as he said it, I know, yes, you're thinking, I can't believe you listen to Howard Stern still, Brian, when you don't have to. Well, that's my sickness, okay? And that's what I did. It's like listening to Saturday Night Live now. Is what
Yeah,
it's
man,
like.
but Shocktober's so far away, dude.
I know. I don't have to listen to it for another few months, but I listen to every new episode. And I got to tell you, I can't wait to play clips next year because I have like a really good amount of stuff that is just embarrassing. Embarrassing. The Trump guy coming on and saying Bigley. Like they do Bigley and Hamburger and Kofifi and stuff on there. It's incredible.
That's
It
great.
is. It is like some real shit. It is some real shit. So where
Yeah,
are
man,
you at now?
It's kind of amazing that.
Oh no.
It's this place called Digital Forensic Research Lab.
Yeah.
So I'm doing like less public stuff, but like I think tomorrow or Tuesday, publishing like a bunch of crazy stuff about like what was happening in the run up to the attack on the U.S. Capitol building. So it's like longer term stuff. It's pretty nice, but I still check in on the Right Wing Watch Twitter account from time to time, and that preacher clip was gold, man. I remember when I was at Right Wing Watch for like 3 fucking years that I worked there, man. It's like all of these people are talking about how Trump is like the Messiah sent by God to save America from the Antichrist, which just turned out to be like Joe Biden of
Yes. Yes.
The most boring dude possible. Which is funny because like
listen here, Jack, you're going to hell.
Strikes fear in the heart of no one.
why I wonder why. I mean, only because it's like why those preachers can't get behind a guy like Joe Biden who is like pretty conservative, you know, but I guess it's just they're just drawn along ideological lines. They're just I'm a fucking Republican and
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about anything, you know? Like Joe Biden seems like he would be more up their alley pre-Trump, you know? Joe Biden's basically George W. Bush.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of that boils down to the fact that these preachers, in addition to like supporting Trump, also have all these like batshit theories about like abortion being a, you know, silent Holocaust happening and like crazy stuff like that, right? So I think, you know, Joe Biden in a debate gets asked by abortion, and he's like, you know, we need to. The solution to this issue is somewhere in the middle, and they're like, not good enough. I like the game show host that says he's going to execute people.
There's not enough wrath of God coming from Joe Biden.
But there wasn't much coming from. It was just they liked Trump because he was crude, and they thought that meant he was good for them. You know, it was sort of like, oh, we don't like the way he acts or the way he talks, but we like that he does whatever they think he did. I don't even know what he did.
Yeah, they really thought that, you know, there was some stuff I was listening to back in the day where people like Tony Perkins, who's this big, like, right-wing, pro-life radio host / nonprofit runner, being like, listen, you know, God works in mysterious ways sometimes, but, you know, we're packing the courts with these, like, weird right-wing judges, and, you know, we have control of, you know, the Senate and the executive branch, so it can't be that bad. But yeah, there's really been kind of like a disconnect as they try to wrap their heads around this sort of failed prophecy.
So how does what you do work? Like I know, because I put myself through a lot of listening to stuff that probably, you know, I shouldn't, or that is bad, but it seems like you have a lot. I mean, you have like a 365 day sort of having to listen to bad stuff, or are you more following the social media stuff now? Because like I wouldn't even know where. People keep telling me to do a conservative talk radio miniseries, but I truly don't know where to start with that shit. There's so much of it.
Yeah, there really is so much of it, and that kind of thing just like does not exist in any tangible form for the political left.
Not at all. No.
But the way I do it is I, you know, basically slide into the shoes of like the weirdest right-wing person you could cook up in your head and consume content at a rate that would make even like Sebastian Gorka puke.
You know, I mean, there is something to like, you just kind of put yourself in a place where you're like, none of this matters.
Yeah.
When you're listening to stuff, you're just kind of like, let's just pretend that like I'm just here listening to this thing without my regular values involved, and it makes it easier to consume stuff that fucking sucks. Like that's how when I have to listen to Tom Likas or when I had to listen to Don Imus, it was just like, let's try to, I mean, what you said is such a good point. Let's try to figure out why that they're like this, why people like this, why they listen to it.
And also following the branches of, you know, if I believe this thing, who's linking, who's talking, you know, you can figure out the network of people, and you're collecting a good amount of intel. And I am not like morally or ethically connected to anything. Like internally, I have zero moral compass. I can conceive of any idea. I can listen and hear most things and not flinch at it. So going through that stuff doesn't really have a psychic toll on me.
No, I think some people are just built for it, while other people are not.
Right.
It's like somebody like Jared, or like if he can do this, then you don't have to feel like... Do people tell you to quit poisoning yourself all the time? Because that's what people do to me. I get a lot of, Brian, quit doing this to yourself. And I'm like, but it's not that bad, you know?
Yeah, I mean, the other day I watched the My Pillow CEO, Mike Lindell. He put out this, like, 3-hour documentary about, you know, the supposed, like, how elite computer hackers or whatever the, like, the QAnon version of like Anonymous is, you know, hacked the election, and that really wasn't even work related. I just watched it because I thought it was going to be funny, and people were asking me like, "What's wrong with you?" And usually the answer is like quite a bit if you really want to get into it. But
you just have a bizarre sensibility.
Yeah, and after a while, you know, you kind of, or at least I've developed kind of like a clinical way of looking at it, the same way that like a surgeon can look at somebody who's run through the emergency room who's badly injured and not flinch and just do their job.
Yeah.
It's kind of, at least over the years, the kind of muscle I've, developed for myself. And I've always kind of been of the thought that, for a lot of people, this does take like a pretty aggressive psychic toll on them. And if I am able to do it without it, wrecking my brain too much, and by doing it, I can put together information that is helpful or helps people stay safe in their communities or et cetera, then I should.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we were originally, I wanted you to call in after the riots on January 6th at the Capitol building. I saw for the first time today, I saw the little video package that Trump played for the protesters. Have you seen that, Brian?
The one with the Linkin Park song?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen that a few times. I love it.
I saw it for the first time today. It's intense. And, I'm not one for, I'm not one for prison and violent reactions and stuff. But I think this is definitely jailable offense. If I was in the government and someone made a film like this and showed it to an angry mob, I would be like, all right, you have to go to jail for that.
Really?
If we did this, we would go to jail for it.
Yeah, that video's old. That's from earlier in the year.
I'm sorry.
Because I'm not. He played it there too, but yeah. I'm saying that it's gotten.
It definitely had like a very different context at the pitchfork and guns rally than it did like on an airport tarmac somewhere.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was for the first time, but because it's got Linkin Park in it.
Right.
I got hit.
Makes sense.
500 times with hey, you should see this, and I gotta tell you the truth, I watched it all 500 times. I loved it. It's so good. It's like a movie trailer version of that song. It's like a dark movie trailer version, which is even funnier.
It's like a Gears of War Xbox game version.
Yeah,
someone sings it melancholy.
Yes, absolutely.
So I guess what I was leading into that is to say, where are we at now? I remember that some people moving the goalpost to March to being the new day of retribution. So I feel like we're still in like a holding pattern here. But I have also seen a lot of people giving up on QAnon at this point. What's the temperature check? Where do you think we're at right now?
As far as QAnon goes, there's like a March 4th type of build up among the people who are still around in it, which is really weird because that comes off this like kind of obscure sovereign citizen theory.
It is.
Which it's not even like a mainstream sovereign citizen theory. It's like it's a little bit like maybe a couple levels into sovereign citizen stuff, which with my sense of humor, I just think is like absolutely fucking hilarious. From going to like Donald Trump is destroying the deep state and we love the president, to being like, I'm not driving, I'm traveling.
I saw
to show the officer their ID, but. As far as the temperature check goes, I mean, as far as QAnon goes, the movement is like way more nuanced than I think a lot of, different like mainstream news reports or like CNN or whatever kind of, gives it credit for, which is that there's like a religious subsection, there's like a alternative medicine subsection, a UFO subsection, 5G, anti-vax. There's so many on-roads into this thing that it's hard to say that like QAnon exists as like one coherent thing. It's like a bunch of different kind of like spin-offs, all united under like the central premise that Trump is taking out this deep state that's trying to destroy the world. But I think the movement has lost like a ton of velocity, and a lot of people, in the various like forum boards and group chats that I'm a member of because I do this work, just a lot of people kind of falling off the face of the map, much less engagement with what's going on.
Just user.
That being said,
post
though,
down.
it's like the.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but like that being said, is like maybe we'll see less people being like, Q post 732 says this, and Donald Trump's tie is at a 19-degree angle, which means, I think we'll probably see less of that. But because there's so many additional, like, miniature, or not miniature, but sort of like subdivisions of conspiracy theories that exist within QAnon, like, the part that makes it dangerous is probably going to keep going forward.
Yeah.
But as far as, like, Q itself, I think that will be kind of less important.
Yeah, I think, and also, in a similar way, how a lot of people were like, all right, Bernie Sanders has a shot in this primary. Everybody get out there. He's our guy to get in. You now have on the right wing the architecture of people that think Donald Trump was their only option. Maybe they'll have their own Biden candidate in 2024. I doubt that happens. They seem to get rewarded with, whatever they want. But it's still the same people have the same feelings that things aren't the way they're supposed to be, and that the government is communist and trying to poison us, and that they see, and we can't do it through like equality or Black Lives Matter. Like that seems to be the unifying factor, is like, I'm not going to accept, inequality as an idea.
Right. Yeah. And it's just like this big set of shared grievances. And like, there's also just so much of the Republican Party that's completely just kind of given up on trying to fix anything, because like the way you actually fix anything is what is like the same kind of solutions, like mutual aid networks and, divesting funds from police and that sort of thing. Like that's how you like enact the systemic change that needs to happen.
Yep.
But they already smeared those ideas. So now they're just doing like culture war shit. I think I've heard like cancel culture more in the last few weeks than I had like ever before.
Same.
Like Josh Hawley's on Fox News crying a fucking river because, he's only going to get $2 million off his book deal instead of, whatever it was before.
That's so embarrassing to have politicians going out and saying cancel culture. Like that to me is like, that's as humiliating as it gets, that we're dealing with like them calling an impeachment cancel culture. It's fucking depressing.
Yeah. Like prosecutors are going to bring this stuff to be like if you wanted to impeach Donald Trump, like January 6th aside, all you would have to do is like wheel out that tape of him calling up that election official in Georgia and just being like, hey, bro, what's up, man? Can I have an eighth and like 1,800 votes? Do you have that on you right now? And then like,
I fucking love that phone call.
To do it.
I love that phone call.
Good.
That is one of my favorite politics. I mean, the end of Trump, the end of Trump had some of the craziest like politics stuff I've ever seen. I just was so shocked at like the things that were happening there during that last run. When he was making the phone calls, the riot, like they really fucking went out with a bang.
The Giuliani stuff was great.
The Giuliani stuff where he's farting and he's got the motherfucking oil dripping from his head.
Four Seasons.
Yeah,
parking lot, whatever that shit was. Yeah.
Trump's like, I'm not. And that's something I haven't been able to say on the show yet. Is that like Trump is right not to pay him. He really fucked that whole thing up. I wouldn't pay his ass either.
We also can't forget Sidney Powell, they were like esteemed Trump campaign attorney Sidney Powell, and then Sidney Powell gets on the podium and is like, Hugo Chavez rose from the grave to change American votes in the 2020 election, and then they were like, no, we don't know Sidney that. I'd say we're acquaintances rather than try to pull one of those things.
But do you hear that one, the one guy that has been brought to my attention that I think is the wildest is that L. Lynn Wood. He was the one that people were really putting everything into.
Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene still is, right?
Ellen Wood?
Yeah.
She brings him up?
Isn't that her attorney, I thought? Maybe I'm wrong.
He's an attorney. I don't know if he's her attorney, but he is something, man. That guy is crazy.
Yeah, dude. It's crazy because, like, the reason anybody even, like, really knows his name to begin with is because he, like, litigated on behalf of Richard Jewell and actually did, like, a very good thing there. And then, like, he comes back on the scene and people are like, oh, it's that Richard Jewell lawyer. And he's just like, we must declare martial law in the United States. And then, you know, people are like, okay, that's pretty fucking weird. And then, like, it gets reported out that Trump is like, yeah, get those guys in here. I need to talk to...
Yeah.
What's this martial law stuff?
Well,
I'm just imagining, like, the pillow guy, these crackpot attorneys, like, just parading through, like, the outer oval into the Oval Office with, like, a binder full of QAnon drops, and Trump just being like, wow, this is really incredible.
Chris James said that he was able to get past Rudy Giuliani's screeners multiple times. Like, he would get on the cell phone with him and say, I have information about stolen votes, and Rudy Giuliani would answer his fucking cell phone and be like, hey, what's the information you got on those stolen votes?
Yeah. He still calls him.
Oh my God, man. That's almost as bad as the, like, before someone knows they're going to get suspended on Twitter or something, they're just like, or if, like, somebody gets banned or somebody gets arrested or dies, suddenly people will, like, Photoshop the tweets to make their last one, like, I have information that will lead to the arrest of Hillary Clinton. But the same thing, except this guy's falling for it.
Yeah. He was up there defending the president, saving our elections.
I mean, he's humiliated. That guy...
I mean, in a way, Rudy kind of did save the election, maybe.
He did. And he kind of... It's funny because, like, anybody that was around for the post 9/11 shit, man, Rudy was, like, the respected guy. Like, he didn't have to do... If he didn't have to ever do anything again.
No.
For the rest of his fucking life. And he would have been considered a fucking Abraham Lincoln type legend.
Yes.
And instead he went out there and farted and had oil drip from his head. You know? Which is crazy to me. Crazy. Like, how do you fucking miss a layup like that? I
would rest
legend.
on your laurels. When your laurels get too high, you got to just rest on them.
I mean, they really did talk about him like he was fucking Abe Lincoln.
Oh, I know. Like, he was the biggest baby face.
Yeah. And now he's just, everybody just is like, what a loser Rudy Giuliani is. Howard Stern plays him farting every single day, at least once. He's like, and you know, Howard Stern loved Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah.
Loved him. Now he's like, here, listen to Rudy farting again.
While he sexually assaults Borat's daughter.
Rudy Giuliani, man. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I just, and like that Ellen Wood guy, like, he's the one who got them all worked up about the emergency broadcast system. That's what he was the guy that, like, that's a little bit of QAnon stuff that I saw. They are obsessed with the emergency broadcast system, right?
Right.
Yeah, they love that thing.
Yeah, they think that there were like test patterns or like emergency broadcast testing going on. Really, like, pretty much everything, even like semi public safety related, that was going on ahead of the inauguration, whether it was like troops going in or like places in the area testing their broadcast systems and, like, you know, increased aerial surveillance. They're all like, oh yeah, man, this is it. Like, one of the things I remember very starkly was QAnon people being like, oh yeah, you see that fence that they're building around the Capitol? that's to keep people in, man. And it's like, do you guys not remember what happened a couple of weeks ago?
It's crazy because they really do think like, I mean, they just can't imagine a world where America's not on their side. They don't understand that, like, the government is gonna protect the government. They aren't fucking there for them.
Yeah, they're not going to be convinced to overthrow themselves.
The troops.
Yeah, I mean, and that's something that's been happening more broadly with extremism too, right? It's like, you know, these different like far right and like radical extremist groups have like been out there and like hurting people and killing people like for years, right? And you know, occasionally, you know, some neo-Nazi gang or something will get in the news because someone got arrested, but like it's not really been like a huge priority of federal law enforcement by any stretch of the imagination. But then they like attacked a government building, and now like what actually like does exist as far as like a quote unquote deep state is concerned is like now all focused on them.
Yeah, and they're just now they've learned a lesson. Now they've learned the same lesson we have to learn every single time. Like, it's not that we're learning it, it's just like they're learning that the government just protects its own. It doesn't like, it's not gonna be like all of a sudden the president is gonna like do a salute on TV and everybody's gonna be like, okay, back to 1776. Abortion's illegal now. I mean, it happens through a lot of slow a slow process of getting judges and chairs, and that's how we get fucked. That's how they've taken power.
Right.
But they think it's like a magical thing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's like a whole agency in the federal government called COG, Continuance of Government. The whole job of that agency is just to make sure that, like, even if a nuclear bomb hits, like, Washington, D.C., that the United States government stays intact. Like, it has one job, right? Like, the government is not going to go away. And the way that you meaningfully change it, it's, you know, this kind of speaks to the caller that was before me, is, like, getting involved locally and just, you know, you have to like grassroots that shit. It's the best way to do it because that provides like redundancies, right? You know, if you get city councils all across your state with like leftists on the board, and then you run a leftist for like state office, even if that person loses, you still have all these city councils, right? So it's like you have to build the redundancies and just like be aware that any sort of change in the government or adjustments in the government like just takes forever because it's built to take forever.
Well, thanks for calling in, Jared. We appreciate it. We got some other people on the line, but always happy to have you call anytime you want. Let us know what's up. I love to hear your expertise.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on. I won't take up too much time. I'll let some of the other callers jump in here, but thanks for having me.
Yeah,
thanks for calling.
Yeah, where can people follow along with what you do?
I'm on Twitter at Jared L. Holtz, and my dog has an Instagram now. It's at Pierre Turbo. Go check that out.
Wow.
Like a 10-pound Pomeranian. You won't regret it.
Yeah, I love that.
Hell yeah.
That is one of the best links we've ever got dropped on the show.
Hell yeah. Thanks for calling, Jared. It's good to hear from you.
Can't wait to show my kid this.
Yeah, take care.
Peace.
Take care, guys.
It makes me this kind of stuff makes me think about like, what about if, like a Jade Helm was to go off right now? Would like militias form up and try to roll on that? You know?
No.
Like, there's
no, they're not going to do anything, dude.
Yeah. It's just back to being.
We're just back to them just yelling about stuff on the internet.
Yeah.
For 4 years or 3 years, and then they're going to get a presidential nominee, and then they're going to get loud again, and we're going to have to deal with them again. You know, that's it's just that seems like what we have to deal with now.
Yeah. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Oh, hello. It's Danny in Brooklyn, and I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, so I'm just laying on my bed right now.
I'm with you. I'm feeling a little under the weather myself. I hate it.
I like it. I'm jealous. You sound comfy cozy.
I don't think it's the thing. I don't think it's the one. It's not the big thing.
Yeah, the one that
because I can breathe very, very well. So, but it's been snowing here anyway, so it's just been it's just been an indoor day.
You watching
not
TV?
A lot happening.
Are you watching movies or TV?
I just watched the Super Bowl. I guess the Buccaneers won, so Tom Brady won.
Yeah, nice weather people can suck it. Kansas City forever.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I can't. I mean, I think I know where Tampa Bay is. Is that on that's like northern Florida on the Atlantic side? Is that where it is?
No, Tampa Bay. I don't think it's like the Panhandle or anything. I think it's like it's the scuzzbag part of Florida. It was the part I was excited to be going to, but it's
on the inside.
It's got Tom Brady, so it's not like I'm not like happy they won.
No, it's a really odd team apparently because they have him and my friend Carrie was telling me she was just like her mom does sports like knew Lance Armstrong and stuff like that back in the day, and was like been a big Austin person for a long time and was just sort of like. He's probably doing something to himself. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, it's just, he looks a little like pepped up. Like he's got something in him right now that's keeping him going because it's not to malign his athleticism, but like, throwing the ball like that for 20 years or however long he's been going is not easy. And, he's got the look apparently, according to her. And granted, he's also just been incredibly lucky where, I mean, like obviously quarterbacks take hits and stuff, but it's just like, it's nothing like, being, I think a wide receiver is a thing where you can just get absolutely like plowed, you just get creamed,
Yeah. And if that's your whole job is keeping yourself in shape, it can be a little bit easier. Plus, he probably goes to Germany and has them like replace his blood or whatever and all that shit.
Yeah.
HGH, yeah. There's an off season for a reason. Yeah. Hook these guys up.
I did have to think. I started thinking about it, and I think I'm a Florida guy. I think it's way more affordable, and I think it makes more sense. There's racing and pro wrestling, so I think that is where I'm going to end up. That's going to be my retirement is Florida.
Yeah, I mean, I would if I didn't see my retirement as California. Sure. I got to move in while people are moving out. As people run away from California, I want to run toward. Every day this week, I've looked at my wife and said, California. You know where this doesn't happen? California. That's what I keep saying.
Brian, you'll have much less car troubles in California, actually. I was meaning to say that I learned about this because I watch a lot of YouTube, but apparently one of the big things that fucks up cars the most is not necessarily the amount of mileage they have on them, but rather the differential in temperatures. So like the biggest stress that happens on an engine is when it kind of starts up and it goes from cold to hot. And even though the tolerances are like 0.0001 millimeters, if you live in a climate where it is cold for a long time, then your engine has to get hot or vice versa or what have you, it lasts a lot less. And California, it doesn't have that. It's much more consistent. And it's why like you get people who have like Toyota Tundras who have like literally 1 million miles on them. So your car will not break down there as much.
Yeah, they have 280Zs out there. You have like good cars that don't rust apart.
Yeah, classics. I think the salt's also bad.
The salt fucks them up.
Yeah, I think the salt fucks up the cars too and all that stuff, and my bones are brittle from the winter. I don't know if that's true, if like the cold makes you more sore, but I just stick with, the cold makes me more sore, actually.
Well, the moisture does. barometer does. That's why you have old guys that are like, "Oh, the storm are coming. I can feel it in my knee."
Hey,
you know,
I have this.
The barometer.
I have my wrist.
Oh, go on.
My wrist is that way. Like I can feel the weather change in my wrist, and because I have a bad arthritic wrist from breaking it when I was 38, or however old I was. I don't even remember how old I was at this point. But I broke my wrist, and it hurts during the winter and when it's about to rain and shit like that. I'll like get a little bit of pain. Be like, oh, look at that, you know, sore.
Yeah, I had a question actually for you guys, because I'm really curious about your take on this. Kind of speaking of moving, I had a roommate who recently moved out. I mentioned it a couple weeks ago, and I finally kind of got into her room to look at it, and it started making me think about, like, you know, what a security deposit is in terms of like you know, like how do you approach that, like being a person who, like, generally speaking hates landlords. Because after I like kind of got into her room and sort of started cleaning it up and looking at it, I found that, like, dude, it was weird. She put a handprint, but with like paint, like a purposeful paint handprint on the windowsill, which was like really strange, like in purple or something like that. And I was just like, I cannot imagine, like, what is the mental, and I even asked her, I was like, were you on like acid or something? Like, what was going on? And she's just like, oh, I just thought it was cool. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? And like, I'm in the process now of like finding another roommate, and I really, you know, like, I'm in New York and I am in charge of my lease, and I don't really want to ask people to like be on the lease as well, just go month to month, because it kind of works better for everyone. But I also just want to, I kind of just want to be like, look, you know, I'm not going to ask for a security deposit, but I am going to ask you for just $200, because my last roommate fucked up the room, and it's like, you don't have to worry about me stealing this money, because I'm going to take it. Like, it's going to take $200 worth of my time, regardless of what happens, to fix this afterwards. And I'd rather just do that than be like, give me a whole month's rent. Maybe you'll get it back. It's like, no, I just want to be straightforward about this. Like, shit fucks up, you know, if you live in a space. And I'm just kind of curious what your thoughts are on it.
Mine was $500. My security deposit wasn't a whole month rent. It was $500.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Surprising.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I'll get it back. I honestly don't.
Mine was. Right.
How much was yours in New York?
$1,600.
That's more than I pay a month in rent.
My God.
For my huge apartment.
You know, it may be unpopular, but when it comes to money, in the nature of it is that it can fuck over your life considerably. And there's no reason to get your financial life fucked over considerably just to be nice to somebody else. I think that it makes sense that if you want somebody that is willing to meet your requirements, then they can move in. But you're not spending $1 million on a house, or like using your dad's apartment as a way to generate income for your BMW. Like, I don't think you're fucked up like that. But yeah, sharing a space, if someone's looking for this situation, you know, it's just the way, that's how the world works. This is the black market. This is subleasing. This is not signing a paper. This is how it gets done, you know?
Yeah, I think there is a, you know, it's pretty healthy to be skeptical, you know, and, you know, a little paranoid about stuff, and just like, you know, I think, I mean, because, like, you know, there are those, like, crazy horror stories and what have you. And I think in the same hand, I think it's not unreasonable to also just be like, look, most people just kind of want a place to live. So, and most people, I mean, well, I don't want to say most people, but, you know, it's possible to wrangle up, you know, a couple $100, you know, in case something happens. You know, of course, there's always New York has interesting state laws because, I think it's like 30 days. If somebody stays in your apartment 30 days, like, you know, then like the squatting rule like comes into play,
Okay.
which is always kind of interesting. If people are not technically on a lease, but I don't know if I'm just being overly optimistic or naive, but like my whole thing is just sort of like, I don't know, man, if everybody was squatting, I feel like, or maliciously so, like obviously if there's an abandoned building and like, you know, like a landlord is just like being like, no, I'm just going to speculate on this and not rent it out to anyone. It's like, please illegally stay in that building. But if people were just like constantly fucking each other over, I don't know. It feels like society would be very difficult. And I don't know. I think it's okay to just kind of, like you were saying, just sort of like very, you know, cautiously but optimistically kind of like stroll through the black market, you know?
Well, and also, I mean, like, that's the thing too, is like people complain to me about the price of our merch, and it's like, that's how much it costs to do it. Like, I don't like this. If you can't afford it, it's not for you. And it doesn't say anything about you. I have no opinions. I have books that I'm keeping, and I have to make sure the artist gets paid. I have to make sure that the charity gets paid, and they have to make sure we get paid. And I have to do it with union labor, and it has to look good all the way through. And it's the same thing with like, I have to make sure I'm contractually obligated to make sure this place stays in livable conditions. And so this is what it's going to take to make that happen. Yeah. I mean, I get it. I've only had like a couple roommates, but it was people I knew. I've never lived with anybody I didn't know. So I don't have any sort of, insight on that, but I have to say that I would definitely be way more guarded than I am about, you know, having my buddy live with us.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's I mean, it's a weird market out there right now. I think I've probably interviewed close to like a dozen-ish people, and it's like I said, it's really strange. Like some people will send you an email, like if you're going through Craigslist or whatever, and they'll be like, hey, I'd like to see the room, and you reply back to them, and you just hear nothing, and that's sort of expected because, you know, if you're looking for a room, you're going to send out like a dozen or 24 emails. But then there's also the people who will they will come into your apartment, look at it, and appear to be like fairly excited about the whole endeavor, and they'll get into like details like, all right, I might possibly have a girlfriend move in as well. Is that okay? I have a dog, or I have this and that. And I've just been like, hey, I'm willing to go with the, you know, flow of stuff as long as, you know, we can come to a deal on it. And then you just never hear from them again. It's really strange.
That
At
is
least
interesting.
in New York. I can't speak for the place. Yeah, I mean, the rental market here, I guess it's what people would refer to as a buyer's market. And I've just heard some of the weirdest. I don't know. I feel like it's. I don't know. I would say that, like, you know, I like to reply to people to stuff and be like, you know, prompt but cordial, you know, and just sort of move on. But it's a lot of just like, you know, go. A lot of like, you'll never hear from this person again.
Yeah.
And also a lot of virtual tours. I've done a lot of Zoom tours and FaceTimes of my apartment, which has also been odd too. So yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of courtesy where, like, if you follow along and pretend like you're interested, there isn't a moment where you have to say like, this ain't gonna work for me, and just walk out the door. You feel like you offend the person that you're looking at their place, you know, a little bit.
Like, because you don't want the place.
Yeah,
you
like
have to get through the rest of the thing.
Instead, you're like, well, you know, let me bring out my file folder. I'm going to get a piece of paper and write down all of the amenities you offer because I don't want to insult you, and letting you know I immediately thought this wasn't going to work.
Yeah, I think, you know, I never gave an answer on the spot except for the place I have now, only because the rent was so cheap and it was like, somebody's going to take this place.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I do understand that. It would be one of those situations where I guess I would probably be a little, I would be hard pressed to find a situation where I'm like, well, I'm sold. When can I move in? You know, that might, I can see that not happening. for sure. It depends on like who's looking at stuff and like what the apartment is, and mine is goofy too because it's like a railroad apartment with like a kink in it, so it looks like a squiggly Tetris piece, but there's like no living room. So, but I'm like the only other person here, so I'm like one of those people where it's like you are gonna want to live in my apartment, but you have to like be not a completely specific person, but like you have to be like, yes, this is exactly what I want. You know,
Yeah.
It's not just a cheap option.
You have to sign up for this ride. This exact thing is why I've started practicing radical honesty on my Facebook Marketplace stuff, where like, people are like, "Are you still interested?" And I'm like, I don't want to let them down. I'm like, I wish I had the money, and I'll just say I don't have the money right now, but I might on Saturday. So I'll get back to you on Saturday and let you know.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, I'm really interested, I think I'm going to come by Saturday. It's like, if I don't have $70 I want to waste on Saturday, I'm not coming. Is their answer. Or like, I had a bad day and I didn't want to fucking drive all the way out to Circleville, so I didn't come get the chairs. Like, deal with it. That's what it is. I'll come another day.
I think that is, I mean, like, to me, it is the most refreshing policy that I can think of. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm screwing myself over, but whenever I show my apartment, I tell people all the good stuff and I tell them all the bad stuff. I'm like, look, if you live here, I'm the only other person who's going to be here. So there's not going to be four other roommates.
Right.
I'm going to be straight up with you. There's a beagle who lives next door, owned by like two very elderly Puerto Rican ladies, and it barks quite a bit. That happens.
Yeah.
It's a goofy, literal 100-year-old apartment. So it's going to have all the eccentricities of a goofy 100-year-old apartment.
Well,
but like, I'm not gonna fuck you over. It's like, this is how much it costs, and if you want to, and like, please, like, that's just what it is. I just want to be on the table with it.
Yeah, DC was the same for me, where you had someone on the left, right, top, and bottom of you, and it's just like, there's a baby, there's an animal, there's somebody that works out at 4 a.m. that's above us. Like, there's certain things that you are comfortable with, or like deal breakers. But yeah, they're very specific, and they repeat themselves over and over again when it comes to that kind of living.
Yeah, and like you said, it's just being honest, man, with that stuff. I know, it turns a couple people off when it comes to like looking at the apartment, like, but I mean, it just helps stuff so much in the long run. Like, you just don't want a person, especially who you're living with, where you're like, wait a minute, did you say that like there's a person upstairs with a child that kind of jumps around at the beginning? And they're like, I didn't sign up for that. It's like, I'm sorry.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. Well, thanks for calling in, and we appreciate it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And my one plug is, if you want a roommate in New York City in Bushwick, please reach out to Danny Feltz at Danny Feltz on Instagram.
Johnny Feltz on Instagram has a room for you. It's perfect.
It's shaped like a Tetris
Please
piece.
come through. Yeah. Thanks a bunch.
Thank you.
Peace. Yeah, that's rough. I don't, it's like, yeah, does my charitable attitude go all the way to letting somebody live with me? Like, how open would I be about that, or how many restrictions would I put on that?
I would be the worst.
Yeah,
I mean, I've lived with people. It sucks, man.
It's hard to make. Yeah, it's hard to do. I lived with one of my best friends, and we didn't talk for 6 or 7 years afterwards.
Yeah,
but now we're back to being best friends. But it was a slog there for a while.
Yeah, I had moments. I had a pretty rough one too, and it's just like, what? I mean, I told Gwen earlier today. I was like, you probably want to wait until you can afford to not have a roommate before you move out, because when you move, because she was talking about, I'm moving with one of my friends, and I'm like, I ain't gonna be your friend anymore. And people tell you that before you do it, and you're like, no,
you don't believe it.
I don't believe you. We'll always be friends. And it's like, no, you won't, because when you got to look at their trash, and when they eat your food, and like, you start to resent them no matter what.
Once
it
they
doesn't
meet
matter.
The most obnoxious guy at the bar, and he's hanging out all the time now.
Yes. Yeah.
My sister had a few where people ran out on her, and she was left alone. She didn't have a key. She wasn't on the lease. There was some. It's a very sticky situation when you get into that stuff.
Yeah, and it's like you can live with me and forever.
Yeah.
That's what I always tell Gwen. I was like, you can live with me forever. I don't care. I mean, people will call you a loser, but I won't. I'll still think you're cool.
Yeah, that counts. Well, that's why she, that's why she thinks you're just going to buy her a Subaru,
I'm not going to buy her a Subaru, though. That's definitely not going to happen.
You're welcome to stay here and live here with the Kia Soul.
We're going to live here for as long as you ever want. I don't care. I'll never kick you out.
TikTok's worst vehicle of 2021, the Kia Soul.
Yes. Apparently, TikTok's worst. Yes. That's exactly it. They won the TikTok award for shit car.
All right, you ready for a break?
What's our numbers here? With that, let's take one more.
Okay.
Then we'll go to break.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
A skeleton.
Oh, did I click that or not?
Phoebe Bridgers.
What?
She was wearing a skeleton clothes on Saturday Night Live last night. Then
Hello?
Hey,
She
what's
had a
up? Who's
horrible
this?
guitar break. Did she ever break it?
Hey, sorry guys.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, this is David from Tucson. I've called in before. How's it going, guys?
Great. How are you, David from Tucson? Tuscan?
Not too bad. I'm just, I'm enjoying my favorite content on YouTube.com. I don't know if you guys have heard of the website, but they've got some really good stuff on there.
We're going to live stream on YouTube, actually. That's the plan.
Yeah, I've sent a lot of money from Give, Send, Go. I've really pumped all my... people invested in Dogecoin. I've been putting it all in Give, Send, Go.
Yeah. That's...
Yeah.
We're believers.
Yeah, they gotta stop those liberals at YouTube. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I wanted to mention real fast. Thanks, Brian, for turning me on to Warrior. I started watching that. That show's awesome.
It's the best. I turned everybody. I tried to turn everybody on to it. This is one of the rare ones I got Brett to watch, and he liked it.
I co-signed for you.
Yeah, I just finished the first season.
Some people that we both know, I was like, Brian likes some really dog-ass terrible shows. Warrior is not one of them. I promise.
Yeah, when you finish this, I can't recommend it enough. Banshee is written by the same ass people, and it rocks.
Oh, okay, I'll look for that one. I'll look for Banshee too. I was gonna say, if you're still looking for shows, I heard about you and your drought. There's a Spanish, like a TV show from Spain that's really good. It has a really lame name. It's called Money Heist, but it's actually really, really good. And there's like 5 seasons of that on Netflix.
That sounds like a perfect name.
Yeah, I might check that out. I'm watching Lupin right now. Lupin.
I liked Lupin. If you like Lupin, you'll probably like Money Heist. In Spanish, it's called La Casa de Papel, which is like the paper house, which is a way better name. I don't know why they want Money Heist for the English version. But if you like Lupin, you'll probably like Money Heist.
The worst thing is, the hardest thing to do is get the native language with English subtitles on Netflix. It's like 8 different steps to get that to happen. And you're just like, could you just like, on HBO Max, when I watched Gomorrah, which I watched so fast, it was stupid. In 3 seasons, I think it was 36 episodes, and I think I watched it in a week and a half. And it just is like, if you want it in Italian with U.S. subtitles, then click Italian. If not, click English.
Yeah.
Fucking easy as hell.
Right.
With Netflix, you got to go up. First, you got to change the language. Then you got to go over and change the subtitle. And then I think you even got to change the subtitle language. That's 3 steps to get something in its native language because they think that nobody wants to read subtitles in America.
The way that you're explaining it right now sounds like someone shoving bamboo shoots under my fingernails.
It is. It's like hacking. You got me hacking now. Your stupid app.
It's not the worst. It's not the worst.
I feel like I'm hackers.
My Netflix doesn't even open right now.
Okay.
I should show it to you. It's so fucking stupid. It doesn't work anymore.
That sucks. Yeah.
Well, I'm saving me some money.
Oh yeah, seriously. My wife and I watched it with the dub, which I know you don't like, but like it's so funny because we watched all 5 seasons with the dub, and then we started recognizing that like the main voice actor and other stuff like video games and things. It was really funny. It was just like, is that him? We got to look it up and find out. He's a really prolific voice actor, I guess, but it was funny to see him in other things.
Modern day Casey Kasem.
What a weird job that is. Well, I started thinking about that because I saw an article today about the guy that did the voice for Pietro Maximoff on the last episode of WandaVision. Her brother showed up, and the guy that did the Spanish language voice of that character went online and posted that he was doing the voice of that character, which then spoiled it because it was a surprise reveal that character, they fucking fired the dude. And then the other the weirdest part about it was they just replaced him with some Spanish guy that just does like another voice in the same TV show. They were just like, fuck it, this is his voice, I guess. He's a different guy now, you know?
Yeah.
You don't fuck with Marvel and Disney. They'll fire your ass if you step out of line.
I mean, you know, the funny thing is like they probably thought that was a very impactful moment, but
oh yeah,
me, my wife, and my daughter have seen every single Marvel movie, and he showed up at the end of this episode, and all three of us were like, "Who's that? Like, what even is this?" And it was supposed to be this like big fucking reveal that I was supposed to recognize him, and I'm like, "There's 28 of these fucking movies. I can't remember every character that's in every fucking movie, you know." And because the season's filmed like a sitcom, they use the laugh track in the audience during reveal. So it'll be like, oh, like that. And you're like, oh, that's important.
Right.
It's even worse than the movies. Because when you go see the movies in the theater and you're not a comic book reader, you go see these movies and people in the audience are fucking reacting to just seemingly random things.
Yeah.
And you're like, what is that a person? I don't fucking know. What's happening?
Right.
You know? Somebody will be like, my name is Jeff Treeborn. And then the crowd will be like, and you're like, what? Who's Jeff Treeborn? I never heard of Jeff Treeborn.
Yeah.
Yeah, Disney, like those movies, they assume way too much when it comes to like remembering what happened and who's who. Like it's just wild to like these characters, like they didn't matter even when they were there, and now I've already forgotten them, but they still think that like you have to remember every single character. It's wild.
Right, like I'm supposed to remember a guy from Age of Ultron. Like, that just seems like a crazy thing to expect me to remember. Something from, I think, 2014 or something. Like, how am I supposed to remember something from that long ago?
Right.
It's crazy. Those movies... Oh, here's the thing. On a TV show, you can have characters just pop in, and it can be shocking. Because you build your own world, and you may have just seen that character 3 or 4 episodes back or something like that. When you do it with a movie... and you only make 3 movies a year, there is not a fucking possibility that somebody like me, who will never watch one of those movies twice, would ever remember anybody from the movie. It's just so weird, man. So what happens is, like, Google... I read my news on Google Cards a lot of times, and it thinks I'm the world's biggest comic book fan. And I just get all the news and insights and spoilers because I have to Google comic book shit all the fucking time.
Right.
Because I see these movies and I don't know what's going on. So I'm like, oh, who's this? Who's Bane? You know what I mean? How am I supposed to know Bane? Nobody ever told me about Bane. You know? So I took you wildly off track.
That's fine.
So what's up?
I'm just calling because I'm a teacher. I teach high school. I've talked about it before, but it was funny because I was listening to your guys' show on Wednesday, and like, I don't know, I'm like a pretty patient guy most of the time. Like I'm pretty like chill, but I hadn't heard of this until I heard you guys talking about what Andrew Cuomo said about like what are they frontline workers and how it's like we have to be realistic. It like made my blood boil instantly.
Yeah, Yeah, cheapness. I saw that post make another resurgence earlier in the week, and I just couldn't believe that he acted like that's a cheap rhetorical thing to be like, shouldn't we be giving restaurant workers the vaccine? They're like forced to be out there. Yeah. And he's just like, that's cheap. Come on. Hey, you're hitting below the belt there with that one.
Yeah, what am I supposed to do? Prioritize people that make $2 an hour? What am I supposed to do? You're busting my balls over here.
The funny thing is, I'm a teacher and I teach from home, and I have to schedule it, but that's another story. But as an ambulance going by, I can get the vaccine now, but it's like I teach from home, and I don't think we're going back this year. Like, I'd rather give my spot to someone that has to go out every single fucking day into this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm home all day. I don't go anywhere.
I mean, it's
just wild that.
I think the same thing. I would rather even if my time came to get it and I found out that somebody that works at a grocery store wasn't getting it because I got it, I think I would probably give them my spot in line. I just think people that work in grocery stores and people that work at restaurants really.
Absolutely.
I mean, grocery stores, you can mask up still. Everybody can still wear a mask. At a restaurant, you sit down at that fucking table and everybody takes their mask off. It's terrifying to think about, man. I mean, I know people that have, the reason I was, quarantined for 2 weeks. The reason I wasn't recording in studios because my niece went to restaurants and ended up getting COVID. So I can't imagine you're a worker there, and sure, maybe your mask can maybe prevent it, but it's not like they're supplying them with good masks.
Yeah, well, and those N95s are hard on the breath. Like on the lungs.
Yeah.
Like to wear one for 8 hours would be very tough. I mean, I've wore them for a considerable amount of time now, and it's sometimes I get panicked and have to run away and just rip it off my face.
Yeah, I see a lot of people in restaurants. I mean, I stopped at the gas station on the way here, and there was the guy that worked there was just standing in the gas station without a mask on, and I was just like, I mean, I understand. If you got to stand somewhere for 8 hours with that thing on, I think that sounds horrible. You know?
I saw. It's funny because I saw someone at Walgreens last night. I went to Walgreens last night, and there was a dude not wearing a mask at all, and then there was a guy just behind us in line, and his wife was wearing a mask, but his wife's mask had an American flag on it, and it said "forced to comply," which I thought was really funny.
Yes.
Where are you at?
I've seen some of those.
I'm Tucson, Arizona.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it's
Arizona.
Really
okay.
bad in Arizona right now.
Yeah, I imagine
really bad in Arizona.
People aren't wearing the mask too much in Tucson, Arizona. That sounds like a place where they're not really complying.
No, Tucson's actually probably the better place in Arizona. Tucson's the more liberal city in Arizona, but we did have a Trump parade come through, and so there's a lot of those people here too.
Yeah.
Okay. Same. Yeah, I mean we kind of got the same thing.
But Arizona is my sister works there as a nurse, and it was absolutely ridiculous at some points where the admissions were just overwhelming.
Yeah, and I just think it's
bad right now.
I think it's disgusting that the governors aren't even bringing up restaurant workers. They're just sort of because they're the ones that need the most help in this whole thing. I mean, nurses and doctors, and I understand but they're giving cops the goddamn vaccine before they give it to restaurant workers, which I just think is crazy.
And Wall Street traders. Wall Street traders got on locked into the same group as teachers as my group. It's wild.
Unacceptable.
Those people work from. They don't go they go places to party, but they don't go to Wall Street anymore. They all work from home, and they're literally just vampires on everyone else's lives. It's wild. And I when you talked about Andrew Cuomo, it was the most clear example of these people do not give a shit about anyone other than them or people like them. It's I wish stuff like this would be a bigger story, because it would radicalize more people, I think, to realize yeah, these people don't give a shit about any of us at all.
Well, I think, I mean, it really comes down to, in the way that he's publicly and openly acting like that, is there's a way that we look at those jobs as like something that are supposed to be tough and horrible to the point that it makes you not do them anymore. And so people, see them as like, yeah, whatever, they're going through hell, they deserve it because they're going to be successful. Pressure makes diamonds. And so, of course we're not going to give it to them. We want them to know their lives don't matter, so that they choose something, they choose a job, where we value their lives.
Yeah,
And not feasible. Pathetic. It's the same thing with the minimum wage thing. It's like somebody has to make the food for us. Somebody has to stock the shelves. Somebody has to do all of these nice things that we like that happen every fucking day. And they shouldn't be punished for it. I think they're doing great things. I think hot French fries, and I don't have to leave my car, they should get a house,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do think that's the good thing about, like, the billionaires making more and more money, as I think more people are becoming aware of, like, these companies are just making more and more money, and while people continue to die. That's my hope, at least. I hope that, like, because, like, you had your usual detractors where it was like, well, the minimum wage would make things raise in price, and so that's happening anyway. And now they're making even more money. I don't know. It's. I'm hoping that this is a radicalizing event for a lot of people.
I agree. I mean, the thing that we got going for us is that people have less money, and that builds more solidarity. And at this point, we have a very long history, from the Obama's first, go round. Now we're going into the Joe Biden thing, and we know what has happened. We know the history of Black Lives Matter. We've talked radical politics. They've been in the conversation for the last few years, and now folks are in the precarious situation to understand that things aren't going for them. The Wall Street bets thing was also a big awakening, or at least an alarm bell to just once again remind people that, like, you're getting fucked over, you're getting taken advantage of. We have to do something else.
Yeah, for sure. And I that's all. I know you guys want to go on break, and that's all I had to say. But do you mind if I plug something real fast?
Go for it.
I have a podcast called Guys Were Screwed. It's about the apocalypse. We were just on Struggle Session, which was a lot of fun. They're great guys. And my Twitter is Green Left Arrow, and we have a podcast Patreon or podcast Twitter at Guys Were Screwed as well. But check it out if you guys are interested.
Awesome. Nice. Yeah.
Thanks for calling in. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Have a good night.
Yeah, bye.
All right. Now we can take a break.
All right. So this week we have some music from one of our own Street Fight contributor. This is Sikema. You can find them at soundcloud.com/SKKMA. That's Sikema. They wrote in and said, "My name is Sikema. I'm a music producer from Tennessee. I'd love if you play some of my stuff on the show. Not sure how the track selection process works." Well, just so you know, so everybody else learns, you can send an email to streetfightradio@gmail.com. You can head to streetfightradio.com, click on the contact form, and send it there. Or any of the social media outlets work as well. So however you want to get your music to us, we will put it on the show. I can't do one song. If you're an artist that just made your first song, that's not enough. I need people that can do a whole album. I need people that got 20 minutes of music ready to go. Send it our way, and we'll be glad to play it. We're Street Fight. We're going to go on break for 10 minutes or so and come back. We'll see you then. Peace. I'm going to pee my pants.
summer, the spring and the fall leaves everything that's good. I guess just how they should. Don't leave, my arms are so weak and so heavy. Don't drop me, I'll never be ready to lose you, 'cause you're on my brain. I see the shine on your lips in the moonlight. Winter comes, spring in the daylight. The silence explodes like a wind, it's over ahead in the cloud.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Street Fight Radio. It's the call-in show. We'll get to your call if you're in the queue. Thanks for everybody that's called so far. It's been a wonderful show. If you want to hear more of the music we just played, that was Sikkim. You can find them, Sikema, sorry. You can find them at soundcloud.com/SKKMA for more of that good stuff. Also, I wanted to share this on Twitter. at teach_Ben a week or two ago posted about getting a bike ride together in Seattle and had 3 other street fight people show up, and they rode bikes like 2 days ago, and it looked like a lot of fun, and I'm glad they got together.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's great.
Prager_UTI, Tyler__Dupius, and Kirsten O'Brien on Twitter. So thanks for sharing your journey and finding cool people to hang out with.
Hell yeah.
You want to take more calls?
Yeah. Let's get them on here.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Here we go. This is me. Heard the beep. So it's me.
Mm-hmm.
Echo 65 from the chat. Hello, guys.
Hey,
good
how's it
evening.
going?
I'm loving the show so far. It's good to talk to you in real life.
Thank you. What's up?
So I revised my statement in the chat earlier. I said I might have one of the best calls, but I'm going to revise that because it is the best call you have ever had.
Okay. Hey,
Okay,
you know, I like the confidence.
Okay, I have a story in 4 parts. Okay, there's a bombshell in Act 1 and Act 3.
All right.
First bombshell is my weed gave me superpowers.
Okay.
All right, good ones.
Okay. What kind?
Yeah. So, like, did you ever see, I think it's called Senseless with Marlon Wayans?
I have seen Senseless with Marlon Wayans. That's where his senses
It's
got
when he's
extra
like,
powerful.
Super. Yeah. He's like, senses are like super. Right?
Golly,
So I have a bit of that. I have a bit of that, but that's just the tip of the iceberg, actually.
That's back when they made comedy movies, like mid-budget comedy movies. You could just go see it. They didn't have a superhero in them. They were just intended to be funny.
It's not serious. It's funny. Laugh at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I do remember that movie.
I do like that kind of humor. So yeah, weed gave me superpowers. I smoked. Oh, you guys aren't snitches, but I smoked a little before work today, and then I went in there and I was like seeing all of my normal work stuff, and it's like high definition. It's like no matter where I go, and like, okay, I'll start with my most recent discovery before I started listening to the show. I was here and I was drilling math problems and listening to classical music, right? And I realized I was like just tracking the notes of the music just immediately, and I was just like picking it up, and then I was like moving my hand, and I'm like, oh, I think I know how to play violin.
Oh, okay. That is a very Brian thing.
Taps into it.
I always feel like I could learn guitar.
I was in the kitchen the other night, and I was like, you had music on. I'm like, and I was keeping the rhythm like I've never been able to ever before in my life, and I'm like, I think I can dance. I don't know what's happening.
Well, that's good.
So that was like this started about 10 days ago, right? It was about when the stock frenzy started popping up, and this isn't about the stocks, but like that's when it started. You know, because that's when I started like going into study mode, and I was trying to learn everything I could learn about the stocks, you know, because of the events going on, right? Mm-hmm. And then like just like as the time went on, I don't know if it's because I was trying to do all this learning, and if it just interacted with my weed, and then like built out my neural pathways.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, that's my current theory. The other theory is tumor.
Okay.
So
let's hope it's the weed.
Like I bring it up because like there's a story. I don't know if you guys heard about it. It's this 40-year-old guy suddenly felt like a pedophile. He's like, why do I feel like a pedophile? Went to the doctor, giant tumor.
Really? I've never heard that one.
Yeah. And then it's a quick Google. I did it earlier. And then I think they removed it. And then he started feeling like a pedophile again. And he was like, the tumor's back.
It might not have even been the tumor then, in that case.
I mean, he said he felt better. And then he felt like a pedophile again. So
that is a very weird thing.
Yeah. So I'm like, is that what's happening to me? But yeah, so you started with the stocks. And then, like, I just started, like, rapidly thinking of ideas. When it first started, I was telling my friends that I couldn't stop having takes. I'm like, I just have a take a minute. I have a take a minute. Why are you having these takes? And they're like, what do you mean takes? I'm like, you don't know what a take is? I'm like, you know hot take? Come on, it's take. They didn't get it. And I'm like, I just keep having these ideas. And then last week came. I took most of the week off of work to watch the stock thing because whatever. And then like I just started like, I continued with this brain activity. I just started pumping out business ideas, and now I think I have like a $1 million, $1 billion business idea.
Do you think that you smoked?
Like, when did you start smoking weed?
Do you think you smoked a Primo? Maybe because cocaine will often give you business ideas.
Yeah, I do feel like very up on it. Like I was just thinking, I was like, is this like similar to cocaine? Because I feel very agitated and energized, but it's not anything else other than the weed. So that's all it. And nicotine. I don't know. That's
those are stimulants, or weed can be a stimulant, or if you got a sativa, you're feeling them creative juices. Weed hasn't given me an idea in 20 years. I don't think.
Well, I would also say
maybe one day, man.
Well, yeah, as somebody that deals with weed a lot and also kind of knows my cycles, it also could just be an episode of Manic. It could be like a Manic episode. I mean, that's sometimes I get like really super crazy high, and then I have to like roll all that energy into a good idea or a good use of my time, and then that's where I end up getting things done.
So which of you have been bothering on Twitter?
The Street Fight account, you'd be bothering Brett.
Yeah. That was my guess. It was Brett. So I've been avalanching you with messages, right? There's a circle of my friends that has gotten that to like times 10, times 20, because I can't stop nonstop thinking. I've been taking voice notes constantly. Every time I have a new idea, I just quickly send it to my notes so I can look at it later. My
best advice is that you have to think about the crash. This comes back to stock markets, markets too. But like even emotionally, like if I draw from my manic energy and I stay up for an entire weekend and send messages to everybody that I want to work with, try to get things done, it's followed by a very distinct crash where I can't get anything done for a long amount of time. So you have to keep it more in the middle instead of indulging sometimes.
Yeah. I think.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to track down an indica for that, like, because I need to manage, and I don't have any indica, so I'm trying to get one of those. I did have the crash the other night. I think it was Friday night, and that's when I started like thinking about, okay, what is happening in my brain? Something's happening in my brain, and I was like, okay, neurology, blah 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 blah, and I thought tumor. This word tumor flashed in my head, and I fell down on my kitchen floor crying my eyes out because I thought I was going to die before I saw my idea to fruition, and that this murdered me so much. Well, and then I slept for 17 hours.
Yeah. Well, that kind of stuff can be good motivation too. You don't have to always work yourself up to the way where you think you're on the brink of death. Sometimes you can kind of remember what that's like and think, well, I do get to do this thing. I know what it's like to think you're going to die, and I'm glad I'm not dead. So I have the energy to do it without being in like too worked up.
I got to tell you too, though, I have the same. My feeling most of the time is the part where you had the tumor. That is how I feel generally a lot of the time.
You have hypochondria, dude.
I don't think I have that because I never think that I'm sick,
Tumor doesn't count?
Yeah.
No. I don't think I have a tumor. I have panic attack because it's always a vague thing. It's always a vague, like, something's wrong with you, dude. There's something wrong happening. And that's where I have to deal,
Yeah, I think I've heard about you. I've heard you boast on the show before about your immune system, I think.
Yes.
Have you done that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I do.
It, yeah.
Actually, I always talk about how I never get sick. I mean, now I don't get sick because I'm not around anybody.
Yeah, I never get sick either, thankfully.
It's great. When I meet somebody that gets sick all the time, I feel bad for them. Like, oh, if you could only have my system where I don't get sick very often. But again, that doesn't even mean that I don't get sick. That means that I won't admit to myself that I'm sick ever. You know, I'm just like, nah, you're fine. People's nose runs.
It's like, it's just a phase. You know, it's just I'm groggy. Whatever.
Yeah, I think when you have so many false alarms like I've had in my life, like where like, you know, very early on when I started to notice my anxiety, it was all around that kind of stuff. And I went to the emergency room quite often to get looked at. And every time they were like,
bank, man.
Yeah, well, I was so broke at the time, they just wrote it off.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Every time they were just like, nah, you're fine. You're like, everything's okay with you, you know? So I'm somehow.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that's how I act too. That is how I act. I keep telling I'm like, now that I'm in therapy, I don't have. I get the highs and the lows, but like the lows I can sometimes steer out of a little bit easier. I mean, I am like an ultra depressed guy, but like I always know that there's going to come a time where I'm not, where I'm like, you know, once it's spring and I'm out doing my huge long walks and stuff, I'll be in a generally good mood all the time. But like this time of year for me is like, that's where I hit my lowest of points every February. It's like, why do I have to live through this every year? You know, it's like I'm wholly unprepared for February to happen, you know?
You really hate February. You mentioned it a lot.
I do. I don't
February's
like the
a horrible
winter.
month.
Yeah.
I don't like the winter at all. I hate it when there's not leaves on the trees. That's the thing that there is something about my psyche that when all the leaves are gone, I get to my worst place, period. Because it just feels like everything feels dead. It's just really hard for me to handle, you know? But weed tends to help that though a little bit. You know, it'll put me up 1 or 2 notches out of there. So it does do something for me.
That's good.
Yeah. I would say January gets away with it because there's like the holiday afterglow. It's like, I remember it's just the holidays, man. But February's like, that sucks, man.
Yeah, Valentine's Day's in there, but you're like, that's not even like a real holiday.
Yeah, that's a stress on everybody. Nobody, secretly, nobody likes Valentine's Day. I don't know why they do it.
I don't mind it. Like a lot of times for we're thinking about doing a gold belly dinner for Valentine's Day.
See, now that I like Valentine's Day
food?
again.
Yeah. We're going to have gold.
You're going to import some food?
Yeah, we're going to import some food.
$120 food from somewhere.
I mean, we would have spent a lot of money on it anyway.
No, I agree. But the prices are just like we got 8 cheesesteaks. It's $190. It's like, okay.
All right. Well, I don't need 8 cheesesteaks. Like, we're going to have to order from 2 different places. I was thinking about getting the wife and kid Maine lobster rolls.
Okay.
And then whatever I decide on for me, probably a cheesesteak, as you said.
You're just going to do 4 cheesesteak? You're going to do the 4 cheesesteak meal.
Yeah. That's what I'm looking into. I'm just looking into like gold belly. I guess I'll do gold belly, you know, because we're trying to figure out how to celebrate Valentine's Day this year. Like, how are we going to celebrate it?
Yeah.
You know, it's not going out for a fancy dinner. Maybe a fancy dinner at home.
But you want to make it. You want to make it special. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to just make it special.
Special at home.
I'm gonna do the drive-in at White Castle.
Yeah, they do that actually.
Yeah, you can reserve a spot.
Yeah,
that's really what I plan to do.
That's nice. If that's what you.
Or there's a heart-shaped pizza.
I thought about the heart-shaped pizza. I have thought about the heart-shaped.
That's another good one.
But it's at all the places that kind of suck, though.
Right.
You know, they don't do the heart-shaped pizza at like the better places because they're like, I ain't spending no time making a heart. Don't they do it at
Donato's?
Donato's has a heart-shaped.
They do it at Donato's.
Yeah, Donato's good. What are you talking about?
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I mean, you know, it's my pizza treat when I get myself a pizza treat. Other than Oh man, the Detroit style one.
I like Detroit
Jets.
style.
That's my other one.
Jets.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I mean, I like Detroit style from. I ate Jets in Detroit actually for dinner. That I'll blame
nice.
Leslie Lee for, where he was like, "I'm getting Detroit style pizza. Do you want any?" And I was like, "Sure." And I got in on his order, and then it showed up, and it was Jets, and I was like, "Oh, I can get that at home, dude." But so let me ask you this real quick: what is your best idea? We won't steal it, I promise.
I'll get to that. I was gonna circle back real quick. I don't think I could ever do Gold Belly because there is so many like good restaurants in town that I've never been to, and I need to go to them. Also, I loved the story about the melt delivery the other week. I told my wife because she's infamous, or my ex-wife. So we've been there a lot, and we always agree, like, the fries go bad, like, no matter what, within a minute. Like, even if you're there in the restaurant and it's fresh, it's like a minute, and they're bad.
I had wet food again last night that was miserable. I was so mad eating a wet dinner.
I thought you weren't going to do it.
I wasn't. You know what happened?
Pick up.
I just didn't do it. I don't know why I didn't do it.
It's a good excuse to leave.
Brian. Come on.
It just
breaking your
happens.
protest, man.
I didn't break. I mean, I guess I did. I did break my protest a little bit. It was Shake Shack.
Yes,
which usually shows up
man.
good.
Come on.
It usually shows up good.
I never use apps.
I know.
I
gotta
always
stop.
take out because I'm a cheap ass. Cheap ass. Always take out every single time.
I gotta do that. That's true.
Where's Shake Shack at though? The Easton one?
No, downtown.
I don't.
North.
I don't believe I've ever gotten a pizza delivered to me in my life. I always go get takeout.
Too lazy for that. I mean, pizza's the only place to do it right.
Pizza's a safe delivery.
Yeah. They know how to do it.
I mean, it is. You're right. I just don't want to pay for it.
But some of this takeout food where they throw a plate of food in a styrofoam box and it turns to hell on the way over.
Yeah.
Just
some food is not meant for styrofoam.
No, yeah. Melt. It's wet.
Yeah. At work, yeah, they were putting breakfast stuff in the styrofoam for a second, and it was like the wettest tater tots. Oh my god! Yes. Oh no! Bad.
Hell yeah!
Well, we gotta get this wrapped up.
Oh, damn. Okay, so damn, Brett, come on, man. So number 2 is my business thing. That's the best idea. It's a reference back to the previous guest earlier because it's an educational program. I was saying in the chat earlier how like in America we don't have any financial literacy or just financial literacy, mathematical literacy, media literacy.
Robert Kiyosaki
People don't know they're being lied to all the time. Cultural literacy, and there's so many basic ideas out there. It just takes a little bit of help to help people understand them. And so that's what I want to do with my program. I want to, and it's not going to be like expensive. It's going to be like, at least at the start, it'd be like $10, $20 a head or whatever. But, I just want to help people,
Yeah.
Like the thing with the stocks right now is what inspired me because there are so many stupid people jumping into it because they think it's a Fortnite dance. They're like, I'm going to do a $300 Fortnite dance. They're like, don't do the Fortnite dance. If you don't understand what you're doing, don't do it. Stay home. Don't do the Fortnite dance. Just don't.
Okay. I mean, that sounds like something. I would give it a shot.
Yeah, and my ex-wife, my secretary, the company's named after my cat. My cat's very cute and adorable and the best cat in the world, and she basically saved my life in this past year.
Yeah.
Oh, quickly, number three, Elon Musk, Dogecoin, you guys were talking about earlier, cryptocurrency, think of it as, you ever read a book and they have like a fictional currency? Like, gold or whatever.
Actually, I refuse to read books with fictional currency in them, but I know what you're talking about. That's something that annoys Brett a lot.
That's very brave of you, Brian.
It annoys the shit out of Brett, too. It's just that, as soon as I read a book and they're like, whatever, chits or whatever they call them, I'm like, ugh, yeah. Just call them dollars, okay?
Chits.
That's
board
games.
games.
So just think of crypto. Crypto is like a money in a fantasy book, right? It's nothing. Its only worth is like what people think it's worth, but it's absolutely nothing. People are putting money into nothing, taking money out of nothing. That's what cryptocurrency is. Establishing that, Elon Musk right now, he on a nightly basis, he's putting out tweets that are basically, in the stock world, you would call them a pump. It's like you want the price to go up. And so he's doing this every single night, like sometimes multiple times a day, where he's pumping the Dogecoin up, right? And, at first I was, thinking he was just like doing a dumb Elon thing, right? But Elon right now, he's very out against the SEC and Wall Street, and he's, against the hedge fund people, right? Because what they do, because they have infinite capital behind them, Wall Street and hedge funds and the bankers, they have infinite capital, so they can go in and manipulate the stock charts to look exactly how they want it. If you go back last week, the AMC and the GME charts are nearly identical because that's how firm of a grip that Wall Street has on the stock market. And so what Elon Musk is doing, right, is he's parodying Wall Street. He is doing the same thing with Dogecoin. He is using his infinite capital to manipulate Dogecoin markets. And then, like, I don't know, he keeps putting out these tweets about Dogecoin and then, like, anti-hedge fund or stay strong on GME. And so, like, my guess is that he's going to continue this manipulation with the Dogecoin, and then at some point he's just going to, like, drop $1 billion on the stock market on, GME, AMC. He might just buy, like, everything, man. That would be like an Elon Musk joke. He's going to drop, like, $1 billion on, like, every stock just to say he could, because that is it. He's playing a prank on all of us. He's playing a prank on the financial world.
All right. Well,
so I will skip part 4. I'll end there. I will call back later.
All right. Well, call back anytime. Have a good night.
I can't wait to tell you about that.
Okay.
Thank you guys. Bye.
All right.
You gotta get a clear idea when you say you got the best business idea. You really got to explain what it is. Like, he didn't manage to say anything except for that he wants to charge people $10, which is what I want to do too. Like,
that's what I'm
charging
into.
people $10 is the best business that there is.
Yeah. Charging people $10 is a great business.
Yeah. Next call. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey, this is August from Montana.
What's up? What's up, August? How's it going?
Good. I would just like to defend the honor of cold weather. It's beautiful. It's God's gift to the world. You can ski. It's been dumping snow. We didn't get snow all year until like 3 days ago, and we got like 40 inches.
I'll say this. My wife and kid like the winter time. Like, they keep telling me, like, I would never, because I keep saying California over and over again. They're like, I would never go to California. It doesn't get to be winter there. And I'm like, ew, I know. That's why I look at California as a place.
Man, the winter's amazing.
I'm going to go snowboarding for my birthday. We have decided that. So.
Hey, hell yeah. That will be so much fun. I'm going skiing tomorrow, which is going to be beautiful. But no, you're going to have a blast snowboarding. It's fun. Have you skied or snowboarded at all before?
Oh, yeah, I've done it. I just snowboarded when I was younger. Hung around people that were way better.
Nice.
And then Ohio just doesn't really offer it. I mean, Ohio is like, has nothing. And I never had the money to travel elsewhere. But at this point in time, I mean, just snowboarding down a little tiny hill will be very fun to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
oh hell yeah!
I would be afraid to try to ski, but I would try it. It just the weather has to be. It has
Definitely
to be like 38.
Definitely try it. It makes it so that you actually are excited when it snows rather than being annoyed about it.
That's true. I mean, Glenn was trying to sled down the hill in front of our house the other night, and then flipped and did a snow angel and all this stuff, and she looked pretty happy. And it's just like, I stood inside by the door and watched her, and was like, look at that. She's having a good time.
Charlotte wants to do glow tubing for her birthday, so you're welcome to that. Anybody can tube.
Yeah, tubing is something that anybody can do. I've done it. I have tubed.
But their setup is way better.
Yeah?
Than any sledding hill I've seen.
Okay. All right. Well, I will consider something like that. I don't know, though. I feel like it's so... It feels like just a lot of time in the cold and getting wet. It's the wetness that's the issue.
It's like 0 degrees right now, so the snow is like not wet at all. I think it's like 9% moisture or something. It's just like powder.
But doesn't that make it bad to ski?
No, powder is the best to ski.
Yeah.
It's just like deep, bottomless, soft. You can hit way bigger like cliffs and jumps and stuff than you could normally because you land soft. If you crash, it doesn't hurt because you literally just fall into like a very soft pillow.
Yeah, so when I was in high school, I had a job and I paid to join ski club. And we would go in Ohio, and there were like the weather would be like there would be no snow at all. It would be barely cold, and they would be running snow making machines. And basically, it would be just a sheet of ice, and you would fall on your snowboard, and your snow pants would just get ripped to shreds. Like you would fall on like just
immediately
ragged ice, and then all of a sudden your coat just has a huge slash in the back of it. Like
wow,
the conditions are so bad up here. I would love to hit some fresh pow.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, come out. Now's the time to get out to Montana and go skiing because we're finally getting snow.
Really? Okay. I want to go to Montana really bad. That's for sure.
Come to Montana. It's gorgeous here. And you can go rock climbing. You can go skiing. You can go on the Yellowstone River.
I hike. I'm a hiker.
You can go into Yellowstone, see foxes and wolves and bison and shit.
I like to hike. I think I want to hike, though. Like, if I go places, I just hike.
Hiking, dude.
Winter hikes are good, too.
No.
It's a good reason to buy gear.
Get into cross-country skiing then, man.
Ooh, cross-country skiing would be a good one.
That's a badass winter hike.
Is it real? I mean, that sounds hard to do, though, and they don't have...
It's not that hard to do. You can get a used pair of cross-country skis and boots for quite cheap.
Wait, the skis are different?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they're like thin, and your heel lifts off, so you can ski. They're terrible going downhill, but you cover a lot of distance really fast with them.
Okay. All right.
You could maybe cross-country ski Columbus.
You could totally if there's enough snow, you could cross-country ski around.
Nah, they got the sidewalks are pretty
it's
clear.
Faster than walking too, like way faster than walking.
That might be worth. I mean, I was gonna buy snowshoes this week. I came really close, and then I chickened out.
No. Cross country skis are way better than snowshoes.
Okay, I'll look into it. I will
probably because snowshoes are just these big fuck off like stupid ass things on your feet. You walk around, you gotta spread your legs out because they're so wide.
Really, I thought they were good. Like they look pretty impressive when you see them, I guess.
They do look pretty impressive, but I would highly recommend cross-country skiing instead because it's just a better time in general.
Okay, I'll take a look and I'll look into cross-country skiing. I don't know because it doesn't snow enough here to really to worry about the snow.
Well, there's a decent amount of snow.
There is right now, but at some point it's going to melt and we probably won't get another snowfall, It snows like once or twice a year.
It snowed a lot right now. It's a lot of snow right now. That's the reason I'm going this is the reason I'm going snowboarding because it's snowing for a lot. That's why you're complaining the whole thing. The whole time you're complaining is because it's been snowing.
I know. I hate it.
Go cross-country ski it.
It's made my walking horrible.
Yeah, learn to ski and then you'll ski instead of walk.
Well, I will. I will look into it. You got anything else?
Not really. That's all I.
So you called to
all I really
defend
wanted to
winter.
say. I love the show.
That is an I'm
I
going to
called
tell
to
you it was
defend winter,
indefensible
yeah.
what you said. It's indefensible. I will not agree with you.
You convinced me. I kind of dig it now.
No, winter is the best.
The thing about it is that
I got a shout out.
Go ahead.
My little brother, he is a bladesmith who makes gorgeous knives.
Okay.
You can follow him on Instagram at Sureforge, spelled SCHUERR, and then just Forge.
SCH. What is it?
UERR.
I love knives.
SCHURR.
UERR.
UERR. Sorry.
Sure Forge.
I love knives. So
Yeah.
Puppy
I'll have to check it
dogs,
out.
knife makers.
Knives are cool as
so
hell.
many wonderful things in here.
Knives are the goddamn best.
I'm already following Sure Forge.
I can't wait to carry a knife and in the summertime and whittle wood. That's what my plan is.
You could do that in the winter.
I do that. I do that while I'm out walking. I whittle wood.
Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta say, if you want a blistering sharp knife, like better than you could find in the store, like anywhere, hit up my brother. He does commissions, so he'll like get on a Zoom call and like sketch out exactly what you want.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the thing that's cool about what the work that he does is typically you look at a knife and you kind of see there's the primary bevel that like the knife tapers down and then it comes into a secondary bevel where the edge is. But with his knife, he brings them all the way down in one bevel, so it goes right down to the edge. There's no like secondary little bevel, so that the geometry of the edge is like really thin, and so it means that they last a long time. You can sharpen them many, many times, and they don't get. By sharpening them, you create a secondary bevel eventually, but like it just stays sharper for longer because the geometry is better. Like
nice.
Yeah, me and the guys out at the Dairy Queen are always talking about that secondary bevel and how much of a pain in the ass it is.
I'm
sawing my dick off.
I'm actually looking. I want to get a karambit, a folding karambit. That's what my goal is now.
You got it.
Karambits are pretty sweet.
They're fucking cool, but they're expensive. That's the problem.
Is that why you want it? Is that the only reason you want it?
No, they look neat too. They're like the neatest looking knives. They're like, yeah, they're cool. All right, well, thanks for calling in. We gotta get the rest
Thanks
of the
for
calls.
having
We're
me.
running out of time. Thanks for calling.
Have a wonderful call-in show.
Have
Later,
a great
alligators.
night. Later.
Yeah.
Karambit
I mean,
is what I've gotten into.
Well, I wanted to say about the winter thing is like, I guess maybe you're just behind, but like you shouldn't be wet and cold in the winter right now. Like there's stuff you can wear that prevents that.
I know. I wear stuff that
So how are
keeps
you
me warm.
getting cold and wet then?
If you go skiing, the snow will make you cold and wet, and you gotta buy ski gear, I guess. And I'm not getting ski gear.
What ski gear?
Whatever the pants and the shirts they wear when they go out there and ski.
Okay.
You know, I don't know what they are,
Right,
but every
that's
time
what
I've ever gone sledding, I've gotten cold and wet. That has been the end result.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you can avoid that if you have the ski gear.
But I have very warm clothes. I'm warm when I go out walking. It's not. I didn't not walk today because it was cold. I didn't walk today because I just wasn't feeling it.
What I'm saying, if you can't sled in it, then it's worthless.
Yeah. Well,
if you don't have,
I don't sled that much though.
Right. You should be ready to go at any time. You get very brief moments of joy during this winter thing. You got to be ready to sled at any time. As soon as that fucking snow starts coming down, you got to get ready to sled. It's the only good thing to look forward to.
Yeah.
We did it one time. We stayed up, like it started snowing at like 9 at night, and we ran down to the park and we're sledding in the middle of the night instead of going to bed. It was pretty fun. It was a good memory.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Uh-oh.
Skelly.
Are you on mute? Check the mute button.
Hello.
Hey, sorry.
Hey, what's up?
It's me.
A reanimated
I had
corpse.
it muted for a second.
Yeah. Yeah, we've noticed that the mute button.
It's Del Vaca from chat. What's happening?
What's up, Del Vaca? What's going on tonight?
Not much. Happy to be home. I was in the hospital for like a week last week and got out and immediately went back to work. Been working all week for the Super Bowl.
Dang.
You're working for the Super Bowl?
Everybody.
Well, like I work for Food Lion. I've been having to make, those veggie trays that people buy for Super Bowl parties.
Yep. With your dips.
I probably made 120 of them this week at least.
Did you write, why are you having a party on every one of them? Like, what's your deal, dude? Come on. Or maybe it's warm there, though. Maybe it's warm where you're at and they're sitting outside watching the Super Bowl.
Unfortunately, it's like 27 degrees here right now.
All right. 120 people are having a party right now.
They're in the Florida room.
Get ready for the outbreak, baby.
Yeah, with carrots and celery and shit that I cut up for them. So,
is that a tough one? Is that like a hard? That sounds terrible to me. Like it sounds
very
exhausting,
tedious, but it's also pretty zen. Like once you get a rhythm going.
Yep.
Like I was a chef for years and years, and I had a pulmonary embolism which blew out my lung, so I can't really keep up with professional kitchen work anymore. So this was a way I could still use my skills and still work and not die.
Yeah, I would say
afford food and stuff. So
I mean, getting enough celery cut for 120 party platters is way more conceivable to me than like, figuring out how to grow my network or figuring out how to get more sales or figuring out like the meeting that I have to pitch. Like it's just one thing you have to do. I also enjoy doing that. I loved folding clothes when I worked at the warehouse because it was like, what do I have to do? Just fold clothes? I can do that. I'll do that all day. If nobody talks to me and I just sit here and fold clothes, I'll just do that.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, when you were saying it's easier for
Cuban music, and I find a rhythm and just am cutting fruit all day, and celery and carrots and whatever they need.
When you say it's easier for you to conceive, it's even easier for me to conceive enjoying that more than being a bagger. You know what I mean? Like that's a harder job.
Yeah, I was a cashier as a teenager and also a cart attendant, and this is way easier.
Yeah.
So
I mean, isn't that like most of working at a grocery store is like you're just trying to get away from bagging or being a cashier. It's kind of like the call center, what I would call the call center dilemma, where it's like, yes, I got a job at a call center, but I'm working very hard to not be on the phone anymore.
Yeah, like anything you could do to like put yourself in training. You're like, don't I have like a few computer classes I have to take this week?
Yeah,
like they're due by the end of the month.
Yeah, and you're like trying to figure out like you're like counting the 8 people in the building that don't have to take the phone calls, and you're like, how do I get that job? And it's like that job doesn't exist. Like it exists, but if somebody gets it, they hold on to it. That was the whole time I worked at the when I worked at the call center.
I liked taking the old people calls when I worked in a call center because you're supposed to get them off the phone in like 5 minutes or whatever their bullshit metric was. But if they're like mad enough, you could keep them on the phone for like 2 hours and just fucking mute them.
Yeah,
and just collect your paycheck. And those were the best calls for me, where I could just let someone yell at me for like ever, and then like be like, oh well, sorry, I'll put in a ticket for you, bye.
It's crazy though.
Those
like
were the easiest ones.
When you're like me, which is loserish, like I always just ended up customer facing all the time. They put me in front of the customers.
Yeah,
I could never get away from the customers, and it's really the people that are more suited to deal with customers. Those are the ones that get promoted. And I'm like, I mean, can't you like laterally move me to something where I don't have to deal with the customers?
Yeah. Like, put me in tech support or something. Like, let me do tech support for other people on the phone.
Yeah.
Don't make me talk to customers.
I begged to get put on chat. When I did tech support, I begged to be chat support because I thought it would be much better than taking calls.
Yeah.
So what's
absolutely?
What's going on?
I was like customer service for Empire, like the carpet company, for a while at their call center in El Paso, Texas, and that was miserable.
Yeah, it's the worst job. Call center is one of the more taxing jobs.
Absolutely. And they always want you to work overtime, too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There's always overtime.
You need the money, so you do it, but
we're going to have
like 16-hour days. And you're like, oh, just let me go home, please.
Pizza and margaritas on Sundays. We're giving away a 42-inch TV if you show up. Somebody's leaving away a winner. You know?
Dude, they really do give out way more prizes in a call center than any other job. But like, call centers hand out prizes like crazy. I've never had another job after that handed out prizes the way the call center handed them out. You know, we would have these drawings.
Did your call center have potluck?
Yeah. We would have these drawings for like concert tickets.
The most like Game of Thrones political intrigue thing in the entire call center is the fucking potluck. Like people backstabbing each other over what kind of food you brought or how cheap the utensils are that this person paid for, and it's like people fighting over who's going to bring paper plates or napkins.
Where I worked, they would have like a TV or like some speaker, like a surround sound system, and you would get entered into a drawing, and you would get a new entry every 2 hours of overtime that you worked every day. So like people would come in and just work 8 hours of overtime so they could get 4 entries to get a fucking TV or a surround sound system.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was hell.
Yeah, they would give us like, they'd be like, you can have a potluck next week, and that's like because you met your metrics, and that would be like the prize.
Yeah, that's what the cable company
like
did.
We didn't even get a discount on carpet if we tried to get our own fucking carpet. So
yeah, I would think that you probably don't get a lot of discounts in carpet places, you know, or like home improvement places, because they're like, first of all, they pay you so little that they figure you're renting and you won't need to. So
what was the customers who would call in because they had asbestos in their house and they would still want their carpet installed anyway. And I'm like, so you want us to poison our installers because you don't want to move it a week so you can get an inspection done? Jesus. Like you want us to kill our installers for you?
Yeah. Well, they do actually.
Yeah, they absolutely.
They do not care.
Absolutely.
So what's going on tonight? What'd you call in for?
I just, called in because I listen all the time, and I was like, I should call in and, I guess I should talk about probably the healthcare system is the thing I have the most experience with.
Yeah, you just got out of the hospital.
I used to work pizza delivery. Yeah, I used to work pizza delivery, right? And it was 2016 around Christmas time. I wanted some extra hours to pay for Christmas presents. And at a customer's house, I ended up slipping down the stairs and hurting my leg. And I thought I had just pulled something real bad because it felt like when you pull a muscle and it just won't untighten. So I just kind of ignored it because I need the fucking money. So I just worked on it for like another month, right? And then I woke up and I noticed that my left leg was twice the size of my right leg.
Shit.
And I was like, shit, something's wrong. I'll go to the hospital tomorrow. So I went to bed that night and I woke up and it felt like I was drowning. Like I just couldn't catch my breath no matter what I did. And I came to find out that it was a clot that was in my leg from the fall, and it broke off and gave me a pulmonary embolism in my lung, which is kind of like a heart attack, but it's in your lung instead.
Fuck.
And I was in the hospital for like a week with that, and they put me on some medication called Eliquis, which is a blood thinner, right? But I don't have insurance because I work for fucking Domino's. I I make $7.25 an hour plus tips. I don't get shit. So I didn't have insurance, and they're like, well, that's okay. You can call the pharmaceutical company, and they'll give you some of the medicine for free. So they gave me these vouchers for like 2 months for free.
Yeah, that's basically just like when you ask for samples.
My leg went down.
Like they just give you a bunch of sample packs.
Yeah, it's like 2 months of the prescription. So it's like 60 pills for free.
Yeah.
Because I was low income or whatever. But after that, I went to renew the prescription again, and it was going to be $460 a month.
God damn
for
it.
this medicine.
I fucking hate this government.
Like, it's ridiculous. I was like, how can I do that? I have rent, I have food, I have a car and gas. I can't pay $460 a month, so I didn't. And a year later, I ended up having another pulmonary embolism, which put me back in the hospital because that clot that was in my lung didn't fully dissolve.
What?
So it was just building and building again for a year because I wasn't on the blood thinners. And I end up there. They give me another 2 months of Eliquis. I'm begging the doctor. I'm like, please, you have to give me something cheaper. I can't, like, it's going to be 2 months of this, and then I can't pay the $460. Like, I need something cheaper. And he's like, well, the other medicines have a lot of monitoring work, and you'll have to have a lot of doctor's appointments. And, this, in the long run, this will be cheaper. So I'm going to keep you on this. And so I'm on the Eliquis again for 2 months. And a year later, I have another pulmonary embolism. The chances of surviving a pulmonary embolism are 2 out of 3. The third one is supposed to kill you. And
holy shit.
I've somehow made it through it, luckily. But it gave me permanent heart and lung damage the third time, which was last January. And that fucked up my whole career, basically. Like, I should be on disability. I can't get it because I'd have to go to doctor's appointments and meet lawyers and shit. I don't make enough money for that.
Wow.
So basically the healthcare system is just designed to fucking kill you for being poor.
Death panel.
Country. Like right now, without insurance, the medical debt that I have is $800,000 from hospital case.
I was gonna say put up
I could never pay that.
Put up a GoFundMe
for my life. I could never pay that.
Put up a GoFundMe for the medicine, though. You should get the medicine. I mean, I guess it's like that's like not even a long-term goal fix. You know, they don't have generic at all.
Yeah. Well, luckily now, this last time in last January, I finally convinced them to give me a different medicine, which is warfarin, which, get this, is $4 a month at Walmart.
Big change.
Even without insurance.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
this is the shit the doctor would not give me twice when I begged them. And they have to make some sort of money off the Eliquis or something, because I don't understand why, if I'm making no money and I'm begging them, I'm going to die if you don't give me a cheaper medicine, why they wouldn't do it until, like, literally it permanently damaged my life. Like,
Wow.
They waited until it caused permanent damage before they would do something.
Yeah.
That's horrendous.
Damn.
That's awful. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
to
Well,
hear
I'm sorry all that
all
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sucks. Ass. It's horrible.
I wish you luck.
I mean, but there's people who have it worse than me. So I try, not to complain about it too much, but man, like the healthcare in this country needs to fucking change. Like there's people like me or people worse than me who'll just fucking die if it doesn't change.
Yeah, you hear these stories and you can't believe anybody could be against it, you know? You just, it's impossible. Yeah. You can't believe anybody would be against universal health care, which I don't even know how many regular people are against universal health care. I think it's just politicians.
Just Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah.
And Chuck Schumer.
Yeah. It's people who make money off of the insurance industry and off of pharmaceuticals. They're the only ones who give a shit about like making sure that you die so that they don't lose like 1% of their fucking stock or whatever made up bullshit it is that they think they need.
Yeah,
when
maintaining
people are
the
losing
gravy
their
train.
lives. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for calling in. We appreciate it, and good luck. I hope everything turns out okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm doing better now. Happy to be home. Just to get my plugs in, because I forgot the first time I called like a year ago. I'm at Del Vaca on Twitter, and I'm also on Twitch. I stream Star Wars stuff mostly. Trying to have some sort of side hustle since I work part-time cutting fruit now, because it's the only job I can physically do. So
okay,
consider educating people for $10
you can always
a head.
find me there. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for calling in.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I love the show, and I'm always in chat.
Yeah, we love you.
Yeah, we love you, and really get well. Or I know you said you're doing better.
And let us know if we can help, please.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, of course, guys. You guys are amazing, and the work you do is so great. And I love everybody in the Street Fight family. I love everybody on Facebook and Twitch. Everybody's just so kind and loving to each other, and it's great to have this kind of community.
How do you spell Del Vaca? That's what they want to know in the chat.
It's spelled DELVAACA. All one word.
Del Vaca. Thank you for calling in. I appreciate it, man. Have a good night.
Yeah, you guys too. Thanks.
Didn't mean to do that.
All right.
There's a delay.
All right. Oh, my word.
There was a jump in.
Wow. Okay.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey, this is W on the West Coast. What's going on?
What's up, W?
What's up, W? How you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. First time, long time. I've got a Rich Dad, Poor Dad story for you.
Oh, you gotta call Tuesday.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad takedown.
Okay. All right. We'll get set up for Tuesday, I guess. This is a tease.
Yeah. Tuesday we're gonna do a call. We're gonna take calls on Tuesday as well. So if you've got good Rich Dad, Poor Dad stuff, this is a good time to plan to call in.
Oh, I see. Well, I don't think I can call in Tuesday.
No, that's okay. No, you go ahead and tell
You're a trendsetter.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so I used to work for this company in Rexburg, Idaho, called Prosper, and what the scam was, or what we did, it was a call center, and they recruited a bunch of returned Mormon missionaries to cold call people and sell them life coaches, and so the kind of entry level scam that you roped into when you joined is there was this program called Transforming Debt into Wealth that would be advertised at late night TV, that people would call up to get this free book to help them transform their debt into wealth or whatever.
Okay.
And there would be a little slip, and there would be this little slip that told them that they were eligible for a free phone consultation with a debt expert to help them out. And that was us. So we'd call up and be like, hey, we're here to give you your free debt consultation over the phone, and help you figure out your debt situation. And then we'd try to just sucker them into buying these life coaches.
Wow.
But the Transforming Debt into Wealth program was kind of the low level leads in the call center. The real good leads were the Rich Dad, Poor Dad leads. Apparently the company made some deal with Rich Dad, Poor Dad people. And so if you did well with the entry level stuff, they would give you 10 or 15 Rich Dad, Poor Dad leads. But you would do basically the same thing. You'd call somebody up and you'd be like, hey, I heard you bought Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I'm here to give you your phone consultation about your debt to help you out, get you on the right path. And the whole thing was, what you did is you would ask them about their financials, right? What kind of income did they have, and then what kind of debt did they have? Like, and of course everybody has debt, right? Like,
yeah,
it's a disaster waiting to happen, right? So of course everybody would be like, well, I got my car, I got my house, I got these medical bills, I got this, and by the time you're done talking to them, they'd have like $100,000, $200,000 in debt or something. And then we were coached and told, okay, then you got to really make them feel guilty about having all this debt. Just hammer on them, and just like we would act and like pause the middle of the like consultation, like, whoa, wait a minute, you have how much? What? 100,000? Are you serious?
You're kidding me. What if Rich Dad hears how much debt you have? You have no assets coming in to cover any of these debts. What are you doing?
Yeah, like this is worse. I haven't seen a case like this before. I don't know if we can help you or not. Like, this was beyond my skills. And then we'd be like, well, we do have like a special program for cases like yours to really help you out. And if you're interested, you'd have to talk to another person, and we can hook you up with that. And see if you'd be eligible for this program. But I don't know. I mean, this is a pretty serious situation.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is for people that want to turn their lives around. This is for someone that, is really embarrassed to be in the situation that you're in.
Yeah. So you get them to feel that way. And so then they agree to the next phone call. And the next phone call is when the closer comes in and convinces them to put $12,000 down on their credit card for a life coach.
Whoa.
So it's like they're already in debt, and then we want them, and they explicitly like told us, like, we want them to charge this to a credit card so we can get the money right away, right? Like, we don't want them to like set up a payment plan or anything. Like, just get them to commit $12,000 on their credit card to this next life coach program to help them out. And I don't know. I felt so gross. Like, after working there for a year, I was just like, this is because we went to go meet the life coaches that we were selling people on.
Yeah.
And we went down there, and all day, like, we went to their office to like meet them, and they're basically a bunch of like real estate people who own like apartment complexes and stuff. And they're like, oh yeah, we can help people try to get them to invest in like wiser opportunities and stuff. And like I guess like the idea of a life coach and a mentor isn't a bad idea, but what we were doing was definitely like a scam. It was like,
yes,
bad news.
Well, that's so funny that the life coaches were basically like buy real estate, because I was listening back to Rich Dad Poor Dad, and he is like adamant. Rich Dad is like, you need to do what you're passionate about. Like, you need to really spend your time going in on things that you care about. Don't waste your time in assets that don't make any sense. Do what makes sense to you. And then Robert Kiyosaki steps in to say, it just so happens that I'm passionate about real estate. I love buildings and I love the way they look. And it's like, no, you don't. You love that you get a monthly payment every single month. You love that you bought a building for $100,000 and they gentrified it, and then 10 years later it's $1 million. You are not passionate about any of this. It's like, I am also passionate about not working at all and making a ton of money. I guess that would be my passion as well.
Me too. Yeah, I would love that. I would love to just make passive income all the time. That I'm passionate. I'd be passionate about that myself,
But he said he was just like, I love properties, I love architecture, I love details. He's like, I just go wild for the carpet in a new $1 million property I've acquired.
Yeah. He talks about buying property. He talks about buying property like I talk about buying knives.
Right.
He's just like, this guy can get property anytime he fucking wants.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's my warning on the Rich Dad Poor Dad. That whole like industry is such a scam. Like you were mentioning some of the others, like the Think and Grow Rich, or like there's one like the Richest Man in Babylon or something. And they're all just the same thing. Like, you got to just, obsess about your customers and work hard about what you're passionate about. And, if you work harder than the other guy, then you'll succeed. And it's just, I don't know. It's just such a big. It pisses me off so bad every time, like it comes up in my normal life.
Yeah.
Rich Dad Poor Dad is absolutely a fantasy. Like, if it's a great fantasy story about like a young man that happened upon this dad that like taught him all this stuff, but it is not repeatable at all. He does not explain like how you're supposed to do anything at all. He just talks down to you like you're a fucking idiot and you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, what are you doing? And it's like, oh, if you don't know it, you're a poor dad. You just think like a poor dad.
Yeah.
If you can't figure out what I'm saying here, it's like, I don't know how to get $100,000 to buy a property, Mr. Kiyosaki. I'm making $9 an hour and I just read your book. I don't see any opportunities right now to own a car wash or to buy a duplex apartment and live in one side and rent out the other.
Yeah, this
I'm
motherfucker's
23
talking
years
about-
old. I'm not going to be a landlord.
Yeah, exactly. That book is fucking astoundingly stupid. I really can't
awful.
wait to talk about it for an hour and a half or so.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for calling in. It's a good story, and I believe that Rich Dad Poor Dads are the best leads.
That sounds
will
like a
say
good
that.
lead.
That makes perfect sense.
Hell yeah! All right.
All right, have a good night.
It makes sense because those people are so sure of themselves. They think they're the smartest person in the room. So if you can convince them it's a good idea to have a finance coach, they're going to be like, of course I did it. I've read Rich Dad Poor Dad. I know what to do.
Yeah.
You know? I'm
Yeah.
not that book, yeah, we're going to get into more
Yeah,
of it.
we're gonna talk
That's
about it
coming
for
up
a
all
whole
month
time,
long.
yeah.
Is Get Motivated. Tuesday night, we're doing a stream. On Wednesday, we're recording the first episode of Get Motivated about Rich Dad Poor Dad with Kate Raff from the Hot and Rich podcast. Are you ready for our last call at the jump in?
Yeah, let's get it. I gotta pee like I'm dying.
Hey, Froggy. Hey, welcome to Street Fight.
Hi, my name's Guy, and I'm calling because I listened last week, and I heard somebody give you a tip of how to hack getting a vaccine by giving a letter from a company saying you're an essential worker, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to let you know, I think I've heard, Brett, you say you work with Food Not Bombs?
Yeah, you called the voicemail, right?
Yeah, and I just wanted to, I didn't know how regularly you check that, but then it occurred to me that anybody else who listens to Street Fight, I know it's good people, should know that they may qualify too.
From working for Food Not Bombs?
Yeah.
Like what's the
because,
thing?
because providing food and nutrition, especially we work here at Food Not Bombs with the homeless population a lot and everything, and that's considered a essential healthcare worker.
Brett, go get your vaccine, man. Go get your scene.
I don't know. I guess I will.
Yeah, I would. Shit. I'd be on the vaccine website right now. Like, where's my vaccine?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was pretty.
Go ahead. You know, I mean.
Yeah, it was pretty easy. The group just put together a letter. And
each sign each other's.
Oh, my wife's on the phone too. We all signed it, on behalf of the organization. And when we went to book just like the guy said, when we went to book our appointments, we showed them that letter, and we all qualified because we do that work. And so that way you don't have to cheat the system. You actually do qualify. And from what I've looked into, it seems like in most jurisdictions that's the case.
All right. Good to know.
Yeah, look into that, Brett. I mean, that'll get you. We're halfway there when you get yours.
Yeah. Why don't you come out and volunteer?
Yeah. And if other people work for similar organizations that provide food or other services to the unhoused population, they likely qualify too. So yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. That's a great tip, especially for our audience who does a lot of that kind of work. I mean, I'm sure they'll be thrilled to hear it.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, for sure.
Thank you for calling in. Have a good evening.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, you guys too. Thanks.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Bye.
Peace. All right. That's the Street Fight Call-In Show. Thank you, everybody that contributed. You did great work. It was a lot of fun to do. We're back in the studio. We'll be back on Tuesday for the Get Motivated call-in stream. We'll be back on Wednesday for the Basement Show. Next Sunday, we're not going to have a call-in show. You'll probably just get the Get Motivated stream on your podcasting apps. But if you want to support what we do and help us continue this journey that we're on, head to patreon.com/streetfightradio, where you can sign up for a monthly donation and immediately get access to dozens of zines, hundreds of audio episodes, and 50 or 60 video episodes content where we watch Shark Tank and Undercover Boss and other TV shows, the Men Who Made America, all kinds of crap. It's all available at patreon.com/streetfightradio. So jump in, help us spread this mess across the U.S. We'll see you later this week. Peace.